Must really suck to be meme copium. Because like God took half of legal mindset and made it into another person, but he only took the retarded half. And that's meme copium. Really a shame. Hit like if you like the show. If you don't like the show, don't hit like or hit thumbs down. Be like, this guy sucks. I don't mind. But if you do like the show, hit that like button. It really does. I gotta remind YouTube that I'm here. They are not distributing things out.
How's it going, guys? Now, am I muted yet? We'll find out tonight. Wow, 145 people waiting. That's kind of crazy. But I hope you're having a great. You had a great weekend. I'm not sure Nick had the best weekend, and I cannot imagine why he thought that this was a good idea to let this photo out. Now, if to go back, what we do here is go back. Of course, Nick decided, we decided to go through and read MommaKay and a second woman. There was two women. They're being called Josh's Angels, apparently. The three ladies, but the third one never got to see the footage, which is unfortunate. But MommaKay wrote this very nice little transcript that we read on the stream, and it tells us stories of depravity. The hallways covered in crap. The 5 monitors. The piles of laundry, the spooky skeletons. So we went through this and we had a lot of fun. It was a bit dark though, but we tried to make it a bit light. We had Sean on, we had Andrew on. Great show, great show. Nick decided that he couldn't just let it go. He had to try and correct the record. So did he show the body cam? No. Did he show frames from the body cam? No. But he showed these alleged pictures of the interior of his house, as well as he gave it a lot of, he gave us the whole grand tour of his house, which was, hey, look, it looked like a nice place to live once. This was one of the first photos that he led with, and there is some debate over the authenticity of these photos, which we will get to. Now, Nick I believe he didn't lead with this one. He led with a clean picture. Now, this is, I think, the second photo, but I believe this was the only photo that he showed the EXIF data for. Now, of course, the EXIF data is various metadata on a photo. It can show the GPS location. It can show the time it was created, modified, copied, all sorts of things. Now, EXIF data is not the gold standard in finding out if something is true and honest, okay? It can be changed quite easily. And in fact, there are many apps that allow you to do this, and I know this because I do a lot of photo editing. Not that I have to change the EXIF data very often. I typically am removing it because you want to do that. Now, things like Twitter and Facebook, they'll remove it for you automatically, which is nice, But when challenged with the EXIF data, Nick, he pulled a Keanu. He didn't know how to bring up his call history. He couldn't find it. He's like, I don't know how to do that, guys. But he only did it for one. Now, I can trust the EXIF data on that photo, not because I don't trust Nick to try and pull a fast one on us, but because he's very lazy. And the idea of him putting forward work into this stream, frankly, I don't believe that. In fact, if you were watching the stream, I caught the clip, of course, because it was a lot of cope and a lot of SEETHE as he was claiming that Josh Moon was doing, but not quite the case, But no, where was I? When he pulled this up, I figure he chose the one pick that he knew would have the good EXIF data. Now, today he was on a show called the BYB Podcast. Now, I don't know these guys. I think they're like Dabbleverse people. They made a claim that I was going to interview Drexel, but that's not the case. I have no plans of doing that. But anyway, the interesting rumor, I guess the internet's playing a little game of telephone or something. I will mention, by the way, that while Drexel had some very funny things to tell me about their college days, he did not tell me about anything illegal inside the Rekieta mansion. Although I did talk to somebody else that did tell me something quite disturbing. But that's a story for not right now. Maybe later in the stream we'll see. Anyway, because Nick has had a day to go through and add or change these EXIF datas, I could not trust anything coming forward. That method, now that he knows about it, is completely unreliable. This is one of those tricks that only works once. It's like when you when someone asks you to show their show inside their wallet or something. You have no time to prepare. It's probably honest. If you have a day after, well, no, it's not. It's not going to be reliable. And now, again, I'm probably going to have an unpopular opinion, and that is I think that the majority of these photos are probably from the day of the raid. But as we will get into the discrepancies that Lady K brought up today on the Kino Casino, maybe not all of them. Not all of them. But the problem here, Nick has a couple of problems with this. First of all, it makes his house look awful. This is the pile of clothes that he said he curated. I mean, not curated, sorry. He curated the photos. He chose the best of the best, and this is the best that he had. These are the piles of clothes that are separated into different colors. It's washing day. Bad luck. Oopsie daisies. You could all have one bad day where the cops show up on the second you're about to do your laundry. He showed a bunch of pictures with a room full of clean clothes. And he's like, well, there you go. That proves my kids had clean clothes. Well, not really, if you think about it. Anyway, we'll get into that as we get into it. We'll go through Nick's entire SEETHE session. We've also got some memes, we've got some comments, and we've got some I've got some clips as well to show you as well. But you can see this is the state of the Rekieta mansion. His tissue paper is not on the roller, as PPP would say. He's noifeless. His knife rack is empty. He's got the painting that his bony girl arms could not pick up to hang. And then you have the mountains of clothing. Now, people have asked at this point, why don't you just release all of the information? And it seems like the theory is that if he shows you a still from the body cam footage rather than just these photos, then it's proving that he doesn't really care about it being a private matter, and therefore the government can release the body cam footage. Now, Nick has made some lies that the government illegally showed the body cam footage to people and that Josh Moon paid people to lie. Both of these things are not true. Okay, both of these are not true. But we'll get into that in just a second. I got to clear these chats out. Sorry, I missed them at the beginning. We have Charlie with a $5. He says, Rekieta was never this bad when he had Aaron on. He got behind Nick and Kayla and pushed them hard to be better people. Nick needs Aaron back behind him. I see what you did there. Thank you very much. Blazy says, save Sunny. Yes, you can do hashtag save Sunny. We need to bring back our boy. We're going to send in Sunny Team 6. Is there like a new YouTube display for this? These super chats? These looks like a new thing. That looks nice. Report him to animal control. I don't know about that. I would probably not interact with any of these people. That would be my advice. Do not touch the cow. I think he's doing a pretty good job. Well, giving himself enough rope. I think we should just see how that turns out. Let me see. The Dragon's Treasure. On a related note, I beat the previous sales month set by Rekieta and Rittenhouse. He lost once again to anime and VTubers. Get wrecked, cokehead. Yes, that's right. Last stream we were talking about the Dragon's Treasure, who is a sponsor of this show. As you can see, using code COPE, you can get, I believe, 10% off your next purchase at the Dragon's Treasure. And T-Man, who's very good at telling anime journalists to go rope themselves, he beat his previous target, erasing the Rekieta stain from his his business history. So congratulations, T-Man. Very happy to hear that. The Pie Baker with 20 says, that dirty no good Nick R has been caught lying so much. If he told me Hillary Clinton Alt F4 Epstein, I'd think Epstein did it himself. And if he claimed he bought a 9-year-old to Diddy parties, I'd immediately think Nick was framed. Like, I haven't heard about any Diddy parties or anything like that. That's one of the rumors I want to dispel. Unfortunately, some people have been telling some tall tales, and I got some bad news today, actually. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed in somebody, but we'll talk about that later, I think. Drexkin with a 10 says, let's be fair. Even during Nick's golden times, Nick was very low effort. So low effort defense. So his low effort defense doesn't surprise me. Well, he did get very lazy. That's the problem when you get like, I guess, overloading your central nervous system with all these stimulants and drugs. It's hard to find that fix. And the regular things that give people happiness in life, like maybe going to the park or going to the gym, those things are just boring wastes of time now that distract him from getting back to his goon station, as people have described it. We'll have to see about that. Torgo the White says, if If this is what he was willing to show, imagine how bad the stuff he wasn't willing to show. Well, that's the thing. These pics, like, it's crazy. And I think it's in the clip, but Nick says, like, all I can do is show you the pictures and let you be your own judge. How can you make a determination based on the select information that you're willing to show? There is no way. Now, Nick said that nobody would be happy if he showed everything. I mean, maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. I'm sure people will be angry. But if the situation really isn't as bad as you seems, then just show everything. You may as well. Like, at this point, I don't see the functional difference between showing these photos that came allegedly from the iPhone of the police on the day in question. Now, like I said, there is some debate over whether that is true or not. And we'll get into those details tonight. That this could be from a follow-up cleaning visit from CPS. We don't know. But again, it'd be work for Nick to show these the body cam footage, because first of all, he'd have to edit the footage. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to show his wife, and he doesn't want to show his kids. And frankly, nobody wants to see them. He's been putting forward this false narrative that Josh Moon, owner and operator of the Kiwi Farms, just wants to see his children suffer. No. This would be impossible. In fact, if the police count, this is one requirement. The reason that Josh Moon had to raise the money to get the body cam in the first place was about $6,000, is because that's how much I think actually wasn't the whole amount. That's just what they got. They wanted to edit out all of the minors in these footage. So there is no way that the children will be seen unless Nick released the unredacted edition himself. I suppose Kayla or April could do it as well. But it's very unlikely, although it might seem more likely by the day that April would be willing to share these, since Keanu did a pretty good job exposing Nick. Very sad to hear that Nick got felted twice by two women in the same week, as he did also have. Should I tell you this? I got a bit of gossip. It's not really news. It's not really important, but it is gossip. Do you guys want to hear the gossip? I know the chat, they love the gossip. They love the gossip. Ike even asked member for 24 months. Well, holy shit, 2 years. Congratulations. Not keeping his paper towel in the holder. Jail him. Spill the tea. All right, we'll spill the tea a little bit. We'll spill the tea. It is actually about Farah. So, Nick had a seed session. Hold on, I've got to turn this off, and I've got to turn the cats on. There we go. There we go. Nick had a seed session against Farah. I don't know why. I don't know how it started. Maybe Farah started it. Maybe he did. It seems like Nick is going through his past and just attacking anyone in his past for no reason discernible goal here. Maybe it's his brain that doesn't make any sense. But Nick just started a little Twitter battle with Farah while myself, Andrew, and Sean were streaming. And we actually brought these up, and we had a bit of a giggle out about it because it was very funny. In fact, never mind. I'll leave that part out. But many people directed me to it. It was very funny. And then the tweets mysteriously disappeared. They disappeared. How could that happen? What's going on here? Was the Zuluminati behind this? That's the question, right? Was it the Zuluminati? Well, I can tell you now because, and by the way, the strange thing is Farah actually asked me to tell you this. So I'm not telling tales out of school, okay? When I have private messages, I try to keep them private, unlike somebody who recently shared my messages and used my words to tell a false story about things. But again, that's what I'm a little bit angry about. Well, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed. But anyway, so Nick literally rang Farah crying. Okay, so first of all, he rang her crying. Not only did Nick call her crying, one of his Jennies did too. Literally, one of these unpaid moderators decided to call up Farah. Like, he's doing it for free on the stream, and then after the stream, they're also calling up. They had needed two men to call Farah to tell her she was a bad girl. And this is Farah's words, okay? She said to me that at one point in the conversation, she said, Nick, you know people are going to figure out you don't know that much about the law. And he said, verbatim, according to Farah, okay, that's my worst fear. Nick Rekieta's worst fear is finding out that the audience figures out that he just doesn't know that much about the law. How embarrassing. It was never a law channel, I suppose. Anyway, she told me to say that, so I don't feel like it was rude to mention it, but it's a little bit of fun. It's a little bit of fun. Not really relevant to tonight's stream, but I thought it might give you a giggle. Natasha with the 5 says, I really think everyone wants to see all the body cam footage of his Florida man interactions with the PD, like him yelling at the PD. Yeah, I absolutely want to see him throw the thing on the ground. I want to see him call the cop, tell the cop to get gonorrhea and die. I want to see the hallway. Nick was very careful to exclude parts of the body cam that Lady K or MommaKay, which is actually kind of funny to call him MommaKay because actually that's what Nick's wife's nickname used to be. But yeah, he didn't show the dirtiest parts of it, and most of her story seems to be accurate. Now there are a few key details that I might correct as I go along, and if I miss anything, you'd be sure to help me out as well. Before we get into that, let's see. Rekietalaw, we've got a couple of other things. Rekietalaw says on Twitter, much has been said about the search of my home and the associated body cam footage. An autistic virgin with a god complex is suing my government. Well, you see, it is Nick's government because it's the Zuluminati. They bought everything to try and get the footage of it. He even hired a psychotic woman to unlawfully view the footage and write masturbatory scripts about it. First of all, he did not hire Lady K. She said this on the Kino Casino today, which I would encourage everyone to watch. And actually, she did some really good research on the rates of which childs are returned to abusive homes in Minnesota. In fact, surprisingly, apparently it was like, I think she said 85 children have died in the last year being returned to abusive homes, because this is one of the copes. It's like, well, if the cops found anything, if the CPS found anything, then they wouldn't have given my kids back so quickly. It took him 77 days, and it was a 6-month investigation. According to Aaron, the average in Minnesota is 45 days. So it seems like they went through a very thorough investigation. But first of all, he did not hire her. Although he did offer to give her gas money, I'm not sure if she accepted. I don't know why he's calling her psychotic. This is one of these things he's saying, that these people are detractors, they're insane, they're psychopaths, they're crazy. Why do you say that? Now, I believe, and I apologize for me bringing this up if Kay ever sees this, but my understanding is that she had a very similar, or at least allegedly, she had a very similar upbringing to what Nick's kids might have gone through. She had some abusive parents who were drug addicts or something to that effect. And so Nick's story affected her personally, and that's why she's interested in the story. Now, pay no attention to Nick, who makes money off of watching people's body cams. He's like, well, show me where I watched a body cam. Taylor Shabusiness. You watched inside Taylor Shabusiness's house. It's like, well, that was a murder. That was like, people are interested in this story. It's a story that captivates the mind because it's a man that had everything, a man that stood for something, allegedly. And maybe it was all a facade. We don't know. But he had it all. He had the wife, the college sweetheart. He had the 5 kids. He had the white picket fence. He had the oil-rich grandparents. He had the mortgage. He had the free mortgage. He had the trap house full of deer and dirty well water. And then he decided to throw it all away for a little bit of extra snatch. And then we saw him melting on stream. So of course people are interested in this story. His entire show is about talking about people's shitty things happening to them. Like that's just the reality, okay? That's what legal content is. Not all the time, but in many cases. Been there, done that, says Megapeen. Thank you very much. Yes, he's still obsessed with Kurt for some reason. I don't know why. It's like, it's weird how he's obsessed with Aaron. It's like Aaron just wants to play golf and drink his Bloody Mary, his ultimate Bloody Marys from Stoney's in Rockville, Minnesota. And Kurt just wants to talk about the law and make watches and shit. Like, what are you going after him for? I don't understand. Drexen with another 5 says, interesting that a year ago everything was a government conspiracy against Nick. Now all of a sudden it's my government. It is very strange. It is very strange that suddenly the entire prosecutor team is sweeping for Nick. Now, actually, I did talk with Sean about this, and Sean is great because he gave me a bit of peace of mind, right? I was like, well, what could be happening here? Is it some sort of conspiracy? Like, I was going crazy, but he was like, oh, the sheriff is probably lazy. I was like, yeah, the sheriff is probably lazy and doesn't want to do any work. That makes perfect sense. He doesn't like being told what to do. I was like, yeah, good interest, Sean. Like, many times I talk to Sean with like crazy theories, and he just gives me like a bit of a common sense check, I'll say. And Sean, the man himself, says, Nick tells us it took 77 days. We actually have no idea because the file is sealed. Is that the case? I think he announced on Twitter, I guess, is the 77 days coming from the date of the arrest and then the date of Nick announcing he got his kids back? I think that's where the 77 days come from. But I guess you're right there, actually. Brandon is your garbage says there is only one thing he couldn't buy, and that's the toe. Yes, he couldn't. You know what else you can't buy is the toe smell removal spray. That's going to be on his wife for a very long time. But anyway, so Nick said that that this is another weird one. Nick is claiming that Null goes on these like spurg sprees or something when nobody's spurging but Nick. Josh replied to Nick saying, "I don't know if my voice is cracking, but I know someone who is." And there was a very funny meme. I saw this on the farms, but I think Max reposted it. This is what's happening. This is what's happening live in Minnesota.
Please don't tell anyone how I live.
It's one of my favorite memes. One of my favorite memes. The Simpson memes always give me a bit of a giggle. We're going to see Sonny today later. And we had a bit of the forensic evidence people going through, and we found some details. First of all, ladies in chat, the cat has been revealed. Okay, the cat has been revealed. This is Button. And that's a big boy. Oh, Lord, he's a-coming. When I saw this, it reminded me of a Beetlejuice comic, which I really find funny. That's a chonky kitty. Like, holy, absolute chonk. And also, over here, there's a Jigglypuff. You'll see that the goal tonight is to buy Nick a new, nice, clean Jigglypuff doll. Because last time we were talking about, I think it was last time, we showed his... Nick's thought stream where he's got all the cushy plushy toys. And I said, thank God there's not a Jigglypuff, because some of the deep Rekieta lore that I know is that one time a super chatter asked, what is the most grapeable Pokemon? And without hesitation, he said, Jigglypuff. So now that there's a Jigglypuff, I was like, thank God there's no Jigglypuff in this collection of Beanie Babies. But then, lo and behold, this comes out. The Jigglypuff. Don't turn it over, okay? Don't turn it over. I'm not implying that he's getting like, I don't know. I think this Jigglypuff knows what a baldo is, unfortunately. Also detected in this image, Twister. Twister was detected. Now we don't know if this is, well, we may as well just say it. Naked Twister confirmed at Stoney's. So there you go. Naked Twister confirmed. We got him, boys. Again, why would you like? Can I get an impromptu poll in the chat? Do you think this was a good idea? Do you think that Nick benefited from releasing these photos? 1 for yes, 2 for this was a terrible idea, and he can't keep making these mistakes. Unironically, this is another win for the toe. Very, very sad. Very, very sad indeed. Oh my goodness. Seeing a lot of 2s. Well, while you're typing those 2s, be sure to hit the like on the stream. It does help us out. All right, let me get into this. I'll be going between these things a little bit, but I think we'll start up with the SEETHE session. And I want to have where's my records? I have them here somewhere. Here they are. So I've got Lady K's records here, and Nick was going through these, but then he just went to show a lot of his, the inside of his house and talking about it. We'll watch it on, oh wait, sorry. Do we do this one? Do we do this one first? This is nice and quick. Sorry, I forgot about this. All right, we'll have a couple clips first. Then we'll get into the Stalin clip.
Would you be okay with one of your daughter's husbands taking a side chick?
Dun, 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 dun. What do you think the answer is going to be? Now, this is something that I've mentioned, is that children learn by experience. They learn by imitation. They learn by watching their parents do things. And by Nick's actions, he's teaching his sons it's okay to have a side bitch. It's okay to disrespect your mother, or your wife, I should say. And it's okay if you're a daughter to grow up and be some guy's side piece that he doesn't give a shit and throws away when the opportunity is convenient for him. How is Nick going to answer this very obvious question? And I'll tell you the answer right away. The only answer to this question is no.
It doesn't really matter if I'd be okay with it, right?
No. Ultimately, children, when they become adults, they can make their own decisions, but you never have to be okay with it. You can never, like, sometimes you have to go against your children's wishes and tell them, look, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. Like they might hate you for it. They might go against your wishes. They might be defiant to you, but you have to tell them the truth. This is not good.
Like they're adults, they make their own decisions. I mean, presumably they're not now, but they will be. You know, like again, not to sit and get into my personal drama.
I just don't want to talk about this, guys. Okay, I don't want to talk about my personal drama. Says man that's been talking about this every day since this happened.
At all, but I don't think it's the situation most people seem to think it is. And it definitely didn't come about the way that people think it came about.
It was just an accident. It could happen to
So maybe-
anybody. Like you're on your way home, you're walking down the street, you trip on a pebble and you fall into another man's wife. It happens all the time. It could happen to you. Just have one bad day.
Being said, you know, it's up to them, I guess. Are they okay with it or not? I don't know.
Also, we hit the goal, which means that Nick's getting his new Jigglypuff dolly cleaned. Thank you very much, chat. Much appreciated.
I would hope that my children find the relationships they're looking for. It's the best way I can describe it.
But what a cucked answer. He can't honestly believe this. No real father can believe this, surely. Yes, you want your children to be happy. Yes, you want them to find the people that make them feel good and everything. But nobody wants to know that their kids are going to swinging parties and bang gangs and hedonism too during wife swapping week. Okay, people don't want this. When they think about their children's future, they don't want this. This is a bad thing. Okay. Oh my goodness. How do you answer this question? All he has to say is no. But he's like, well, if I say no, then surely I'm hypocritical. You could say that. Just say, look, I know it's hypocritical. I did these things. I enjoyed them. I was a polycule, hedonistic asshole, whatever. Those days are long gone. And you know what? No, I don't want that for my children. That's all you have to say. Or just no.
I don't necessarily know what those will be or what they'll look like. I know mine never looked like what I thought it would from the very start. I was surprised by my own relationship the whole time. In great ways, most of the time, and then in bad ways some of the times.
He actually admitted that he loved April today as well. Now, this was obviously you can infer this from his actions, talking about his very real and very what do you say? What did he say? Very romantic relationship. The love is implied, but I wonder, like, what do you think when your kids hear that? Like, hey, kids, I loved another woman. Yeah, like your mom wasn't enough for me. I don't get it.
I think that's how life goes. I think that's how
very sexual and very
develop,
relationship.
and you know, you make good and bad choices in them, and then after those good and bad choices, you choose to go on or you don't. I don't think it's as complicated as people want it to be.
I mean, it's not as simple as I want it to be either, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you're going through hell, keep going. Like, honestly, if Nick can get better, if he can just do his boring law show, entertain his boomer audience when they're drinking their box of Franzia for the night, then I think he could be successful, but he has to put down the drama. Or he can just go, like, he can go full into the drama or full into the law, but I don't think he can do both. Now, he may have been able to do both in the past, but the audience isn't quite there for it anymore, and that's why his numbers are going down week after week after week, to the point where I won't be allowed to talk to him. Because he'll just have less viewer than me, and then I'll be punching down, which Parallax rightly pointed out it's bad to do. So these are the last few days for me. I'm about to retire because I'm not allowed to talk about him once he's a smaller streamer. And like, you know, it's fun to have these big streams. Let's be honest for a second, okay? We'll drop the act for a second, okay? These Rekieta streams are big. We get a lot of numbers, but it's going to go down, and it's going to go up, and it's going to go down, and it's going to go up, and that's fine. That's fine. These are the ebb and flow of topics of interest, and hopefully you get a little bit larger every time. But, you know, there'll be a time when we have the real 500 viewers back again. I think I'll be just okay with that. But for now, it's pretty fun. He made you. All right, one other one. What is this? Nick doesn't care about the Kino Casino. There's nothing left to spill.
Just wait until April goes on the casino and spills everything, Nick.
Okay. I don't know what hasn't been spilled yet at this point.
Ooh. I think there's a bit of things out there, Nick. In fact, it seems like there may be a dam that's about to break. Maybe those are like it's one of those cursed monkey paw things that Nick says, right? Oh, what else could you talk about? Well, We'll see.
Guys, you know way too much about my life already.
No, that's true. We do.
So
I wish I didn't know
knowing
this
more
much.
isn't going to really, like, again, I would prefer people let it go just because, you know, there's other people involved. I don't really care on my front.
Now, interesting. Let's juxtapose this clip with a clip that is also very short on Alyssa's channel. It is this, what is this one by the Steel Toe? What is he saying?
Oh, breaking news. I talked to an investigator this weekend, and they were asking me what I'd ever seen in regards of Nick and being physically abusive.
Oh,
Yeah. That
That's
was
not good.
that was a wild,
that's not
probably
good.
20-minute conversation. Then I had to send a few texts. They wanted a few things
I don't know
clarified.
about physical, but if you want to see verbal, I got a clip you can watch.
Well, there's a rumor out there now that was put out this weekend that he's been physically abusive to members of his family.
That's
dear.
not okay.
That's not good. That's not good.
And I can't tell you who the source is, but it's someone really, really close. And someone who would know better than me. So,
Ooh. Now, of course, last time we did talk about a particular post on the Kiwi Farms. Now, that post implied a couple of things. Now, of course, this is allegedly. We don't know for sure. But if you remember Minnesota Public Records, it sounds like, and I believe that the quote was that they had 70 pages of something. And it sounds like it's from a sealed chips case. Now, that is the CPS equivalent in Candy, Ohio County. It seems like either they were scared off the internet or maybe Nick is hot on the trail of finding them. There was some allegations. Maybe it was the nanny or something. I don't know. I haven't talked to them myself, but it sounds like maybe the reason they haven't been released is because they weren't acquired legally. Now, if that is the case, yeah, they could be in trouble if they leak them. And maybe that's what's holding that up. We don't know. But Nick actually mentioned today about journalistic privilege, and the story about how a radio show received some illegally recorded and illegally obtained materials on, I think it was the Howard Stern or something like that. But journalists actually have, I guess, protection to be able to read these sort of things. So I'm not a journalist. I'm just some weirdo in my bedroom who's talking about internet gossip, really. But like, you know, if Minnesota Public Records is out there and they're listening, why don't you send it along to someone with some legal expertise? Like, I'm sure. I mean, I don't want to volunteer Sean's time, but I'm sure he would be happy to advise you on the legality of sending them to him, and then maybe he can go through them and see if it's okay to broadcast them. I don't know, but I feel like there is. I feel like there is a lot of stuff out there that is close to being revealed, shall we say? But he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the Keno Casino.
It doesn't bother me at all. People can talk about what I did or didn't do all day, and they do constantly.
Well, stop being retarded and we'll stop talking about you. That's it. Want to make that deal?
That being said, I really don't know what there would be to reveal or spill. I mean, most people believe a bunch of shit that isn't true. That's worse than anything that would come out.
What is being talked about with Nick that hasn't been proven true so far? Has there been any like real like bangers that just were absolute fabrications? I think with regards to Steel Toe, obviously he gilds the lily. Obviously he tries to make himself sound like a better man. I mean, we all do in our own lives, but like, has he ever been proven to be showing like a solid lie about Nick? I mean, apart from the exaggerations, of course, because he's not the most reliable narrator, but it seems like everything that he's like has come out about this has just been true. I'm trying to think of things that are actually false. Like there's some minor details that get wrong, of course. But that just be difference of perception of thing. Like for example, in Lady K's document, she makes the claim that Nick had 5 monitors. That's false. Because women don't know what technology is. Nick has 3 monitors, it appears. Actually, it looks like 2 monitors, 1 drawing pad, and 2 of the same lights that I'm using right now, actually. So these are nice lights. I just got my one. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So little details like that, but they kind of like hammer home these like small inconsequential details, and they say, well, look, this one thing is wrong. So obviously the rest of it's wrong. Anyway, let's continue.
So like it'd be
Do I not have
anything coming out would go backwards in things. It would look better, I guess. I don't know. Who knows?
What does he use the drawing pad for? I believe he used it once for making Anna Kasparian look like Muhammad. And apart from that, I don't think he's ever used it. Maybe he certainly doesn't use it to make his thumbnails. He's got Grok doing all that or something. I think he just bought it because he had money to burn or something. Good question. Good question, though.
Yo, Nick, I do not understand this whole Kino Casino thing. I checked it out once, and all I could see was some fat, Krang-looking motherfuckers spewing hate and cheese doodles.
Some fat, Krang-looking motherfucker.
Was that
That was
funny?
funny. I like that. I don't get it. I mean, PvP and Andy are relatively entertaining people in general.
Oh no. I mean, maybe that's why they had 6,000 people watching today, Nick. And you can see Nick's counter down here. Very cheeky of Alyssa to leave these in. The 1.2. As he takes a cope sip from the best dad in the universe cup.
I'm not the biggest fan for personal
I
reasons,
just have a regular
but like
glass.
so. It just means I don't really want to talk to them or go on their show, but I'm not trying to shut it down. You bet there's a little to expose, Nick. The drugs, the kids. The kids, our children. There's not really anything to expose there. And people's desire to like see the children is a little bit weird.
No, it isn't, because we can't see the children because the county is going to censor them. There's no way we could see them. What are you talking about? This is just a lie.
That being said, the drugs I've talked about extensively, rather openly. I don't know what people expect there to be that's different. My descriptions are pretty consistent with what's in the police report, I think.
I'm not sure about that.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else people are expecting to find. If there was something else, I would.
No, I did. As viewers of this stream will know, I have heard something. I have heard something that's not good. And there was some details that I want, and you know, people that enjoyed my dinosaur streams knows what I'm talking about. Okay. I have an eyewitness that told me something bad. They told me something else though, and I was waiting. The thing is, I know people think that I'm like dancing around it or tee-hee posting it about. I'm not doing that. Okay. The reason is there is some complications in just coming forward and saying exactly what it is. Okay. And it'll make sense in time, I hope. But this person told me some details that I believe no one else has ever said about the Rekieta house. And I was hoping that the BodyCam would be able to allow me to verify that so that my claims might have better validity in the future. And one of the things they mentioned was, and I did mention this before, is the Harry Potter room, which is kind of what I called it, basically. It was this toy room that was under the stairs. I thought it was under the stairs, but I could be incorrect. Basically, they told me that there was a cupboard or a closet that was full of toys. And I believe this was called the Happy Room. I'm not sure, but I think that's like a new detail that's come up recently. But I believe it was called the Happy Room. Now, Nick's daughter, the same one that tested positive, she would go to sleep in this room sometimes, and I'm not sure why. I don't think it was a discipline thing. I think it was maybe just a kid adventure. You know, kids like to do things like that all the time. Not too strange. But the more I think about this story, when I see the screaming between between Nick and Keanu, and knowing the stories that Aaron has told, and like if he's like this in public, what is he like in private? Maybe the reason that she would go to the Happy Room was to escape from all of the trauma in the rest of the house. Now, I don't know if it's in these. I believe it's. Then I saw this photo. Now, I'm not sure if this is the Happy Room, but there is a room full of Legos and toys. Now, one thing I wanted to find out about the BodyCam was if there was like a pillow or a blanket or something in here that might, you know, something to really show that there was like a little space like this. But I did notice this when Nick was showing these things. And I believe that this is a detail that nobody has ever said. And if that is the case, then I hope that adds some credibility to my claims. But I'm not sure if this is the Happy Room or if it's just an additional Lego room or something. But we might come back to that a little bit later. Anyway, let's, I guess, with that, let us go into the next stuff. So this is from Stalin's channel. And I usually go to Alyssa. You know, I love Alyssa clips. But her cut of this was like an hour long. This one's like 28 minutes. So it's going to take us an hour to get through this anyway. I chose this one purely because it was shorter, Alyssa. Okay, please forgive me. We did watch some of your other clips in the beginning of the stream. All right. So Eric the Red says Trash Cat is displeased with his proceedings. Yes. Natasha says, notice how Button is watching. Button has seen some shit. I thought he was an inside cat because I thought the reason he was fat was he was feeding off the rats on the garbage mound in Nick's house. But apparently he's an outside cat. And that was the first time he was allowed inside when the cops opened the door. Billy Oki says, quack. Hello there. And a mystery person says, did Nick do lines off the Baldo? I can only assume so. All right, I'm going to go this in 1.25 speed as well. Let us continue.
There's a dirty cat house tower and filled trash bags on the patio.
Was that the beginning? Yeah.
Okay. There's a dirty cat house tower and filled trash bags on the.
Oh, one other thing. The story that I heard, it's not from Drexel or Aaron. Okay, I wanted to clear that up. Okay, that's another thing that people keep thinking that I'm. Never mind. It's fine. It's fine.
Patio. Were there? It doesn't sound right, but maybe. Officer sees kids inside the house through the window. Takes about 6 knocks. One of Nick's daughters can be heard saying, "Daddy told her not to answer the door." Yeah, I told my kids not to answer the door because.
Now, I don't know why. Like Nick says that this is a strange point that the kids didn't answer the door for the cops. This seems totally normal to me, and in fact, I would advise every parent to tell their kids never to answer the door to anyone, because kids don't have the ability to discern a real police officer or a fake one, and people do dress up like cops from time to time. This is good advice. This is based. This is based parenting. Don't tell your kids to open the door for cops. And also, they should need a warrant, okay? Unless it's an emergency and you need them to, like you bring up the cops because you need help for something, never let them inside. I don't know why he makes such a point about this. He's like saying like, well, I don't know why people are so mad that I wouldn't let, I told my kids not to let the cops in. No, this seems normal. This seems totally fucking normal.
That daughter is 8 years old at the time. So I really don't want her answering the door. I would prefer her to get an adult. I didn't think that was weird.
It's not. And I would also prefer her to get an adult. Where were the adults? Oh, that's right. They were in the master bedroom getting high at 9 a.m. That's where they were. That's why they couldn't answer the door. That's why the kids saw the cops bust down the door, because April and Kayla were stayed up all night. Now, Nick did this really slick. So in the police report, Nick says that April didn't sleep here last night because she was up all night doing drugs. This is how he lies. This is how he tells his stories. Unbelievable. Where were they when they needed to be there? Well, Kayla wasn't even dressed. She was just like, I guess, just crashing from the night before in a bathrobe or some shit.
I didn't think that was weird at all. But I guess other people are like, no, 8-year-old, just answer the door for whoever comes up. Did anyone actually say this, that it's weird that the kids didn't open the door for the cops? I thought this was perfectly normal. That's fine. And if you are, that's great. That's not how we live, generally speaking. It didn't have anything to do with it being the cops or not. It had everything to do with it just being a person she didn't know. No one said that's weird. No, the cops said it was weird. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ.
Well, cops will say that. Cops will say whatever they want to get into things like, don't trust the cops, don't talk to cops, even if they get you on illegal stops, as Sean would say.
Saying this shit like nobody said this, nobody said that. No, tons of people have said this. I'm the one who reads all the comments that are sent to me all the time. So
he reads all the comments. He reads all the comments. I forgot to mention this actually earlier when we were doing the gossip part, when I was talking about how Nick's greatest fear is that his audience figures out that he's just not that good at the law. So we watched the clip that says Nick doesn't care about the Keno Casino. There was another clip on Alyssa's channel called Nick Doesn't Care About Legal Mindset. Well, in that clip, I believe Nick talks about how he doesn't know why Legal Mindset turned on him, even though Legal Mindset said as much. Why, on Twitter, you can literally see this in response to a Scarebro post. When Nick was trying to swing with Farron, which is absolutely what he was trying to do, she said, and you're not really she kind of said something to the effect of, you're not really my type. I kind of like Andrew more. He's more my type. At that time, Nick and Andrew were still on good terms. And while they were on good terms, on that day, Nick started to badmouth Andrew to Farron. He's like, you like that guy? He's weird. Like you like him? He's so insecure. So all of this talk about how I don't know, he's got this fake Chad facade. It's literally insecurity. Nick is literally insecure about everything. He's still fucking mad about that. Absolute fucking snake. It's the year of the snake as well, by the way. Jacob Hansen with our 50 Donkey Kong coins. I guess DKK. I think we should change the ceiling cats to orange ones. I don't have any orange ones. If someone wants to make that for me, I might use it. And George Studio says, I tell the kids not to open the door to cops when they are in... What? I tell the kids not to open door to cops when they are in a windowless van? What? I don't quite get it. Please explain. Is it political? All right.
So yes, tons of people have said it's weird that my 8-year-old told the police the dad said not to open the door. The cops said it was weird that the 8-year-old said dad said not to open the door. That's dumb. That's dumb. But the detective who did this is dumb. So I don't know, what else to say about it. But I didn't think it's weird to have an 8-year-old not answering a door. All right.
Is the detective, like, what is dumber? The police officer asking the person to open the door so he doesn't have to bust it down, or being caught with all those drugs and 2 chicks at the same time? It's just cool partying, man.
So here we go. They find
not bad to be doing something,
yeah,
right?
as soon as the door is open, literal labyrinth of clothes and stuff. Hard to decipher where one room begins and another ends, because every counter and table surface is covered in bottles, clothes, packages of food, indicators of kids and their toys live there. There's not a lot of space to walk around the piles of stuff either. So I guess this will bring us to the first pictures. Here we go. Here's the first.
All right. So this is the first picture that
photo.
Nick brings up. Okay. I want to go back in the frame a little bit because I want to.
So I guess this will bring us to the first picture.
Actually, you know what? I guess I can just compare it, right? There's like the full size ones over here. Wait, sorry, not that one. Not that one. I got a lot of. Look at all these tabs. Pull this over here. I'll pull this one over here, so I don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about that. Okay. So let me see. Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? Where's the first one? This is the first one that he brings up. Now, Lady K, MommaKay, was in the... Oh, first of all, we got to have a look at this, okay? This is the skeleton. So people are wondering why the skeleton's here. Let me tell you. This is Nick's thinspiration, okay? This is the goal body. We can definitely see that's his type. Now, the second that this was... this is the first photo that he brought up, and allegedly it's the best photo. So... when Nick brought up this photo, I believe Lady K was in the chat at the very same time, to which he said, what the hell? Those aren't from the day, or they're edited. Interesting. Now, do you think this is from the day, chat? Oh, actually, you know what? That sounds like a good thing to have a poll for, shall we? Now, I'm of 2 minds. We're going to do another poll. Let me see. The preceding poll was Nick's showing pics a good idea. 11% said he's a good boy, and 46% said it was another win for the toe. All right, let's see what the chat wants to say. Let's see. Are these pics legit? Yes. Different day, and let me see. Well, day edited. Nick does have a penchant for using AI to change things, as we've seen from his recent streams. So you never know. You never know. But the claim seems to be that a lot of people think that this photo was not there on the day. That this is from either a follow-up visit or a CPS update report saying, "Look, we're cleaning up the house." I think it's going to be unpopular for me to say this, but I think that the majority of these photos will be from the day, but Nick has obviously curated them to such a degree that this is just like a small corner in his house. In fact, I believe I know exactly where this is. And this actually makes sense with Kay's report. Now, when you see a body cam and photos, they're going to look differently, of course. It's just the nature of a live video versus a photo. But it actually says in Kay's report, I believe if we look down here to where it says the streaming room, and it says that the streaming room is the only like clean area, basically. Like the bathrooms, I think the report said that the bathrooms were clean, the streaming room was clean, and anywhere you see on stream will be like he's moved the trash away from that area. So I actually find this consistent with that story, because isn't this where he does his like Cope kitchen streams? Like, isn't this where he'd put the camera and that would be the background where he's like where he does this one, right? This would be the background for this clip.
Sorry, Kiwi fags. Life doesn't work out the way you pretend it does.
Like, So this would make sense to me that if this area was clean, it's purely clean for performative reasons. So I could actually believe that this is from the day, although I can't give Nick the benefit of the doubt. I trust Lady K more than I trust Nick. That's the thing. Lady K has thus far shown that she's been a very honest and true and honest, in fact, reporter. So I would believe her over Nick, obviously. And since Nick was not willing to show the EXIF data for everything else on the day, it doesn't let me give him any benefit of the doubt. I think at this point, no matter where you get the source from Nick or from people on the internet that are anonymous, I feel like we can't trust any of this until it comes out, or if it comes out from the police, because there's just no way to verify this unless you trust Nick, and Nick is not giving a complete picture. How can anyone come to a conclusion with information that he's accepted, he is co-signed on? Oh, there's actually a funny little detail I forgot to mention from this stream as well, is that it started and then it went blank for like 20 minutes because Nick had to have an emergency SEETHE session with his wife, apparently. Now, we don't know, of course, but he had some sort of conversation. It seems like his wife is very upset with him showing these details, and she just wants it to stop. So he had to go and explain and beg for permission to show this is what we believe, this stream. And just leaving the audience. He's just like, all right, audience, I'm leaving you, just like tough shit. Just sit there like good little cucks for 20 minutes. That's why I didn't watch it. I watched the clips because they're cutting things down to where it's actually manageable. All right, so I can believe that there could be some clean spaces in the house, but leading with this picture first, this could just be a corner. He's got a massive house. He said he's got like a 5,000 square foot house. That just means that he's got a lot of room for garbage. If this was like a regular person's house, like a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, it would have been up to the windowsills with trash. Now, is it from a different day? It will be very funny. I'll say it'll be very, very funny if it comes out that the body cam comes out, or maybe the photos aren't under the same protections as the body cam and the entirety of the photos come out. That'll be very funny if Nick decided to try and lie and doesn't get away with it, because then surely there was no way people could sweep for him at that point, I would say, right? Who can tell? Who can knows? All right, let me see. Let's continue with this.
Cheers. Here we go. Here's the first photo. You can see this is and I'll show to the left here as well. So this is the floor that was so cluttered that you could not walk without stepping on anything, and the table in part of the counter, which I'll show the rest of in a minute.
Well, first of all, this is very deceptive because the report says at the very beginning, as soon as the door is open, it's a literal labyrinth of clothes and stuff. Hard to decipher where one room begins and the other ends, because every counter and table surface is covered in bottles of clothes, packages of food, and indicators of kids and their toys live there. This is not a lot of space to walk around the piles and stuff. This photo, the first one he leads with, is not the entrance to his house. So why would you lead with this photo? If you're trying to compare things in this document to what is said, to the photos that you have, then you have to show the entryway. You can't say, wow, there's nowhere. This is just a fucking corner. And first of all, it looks like this is the only way you can go through, because he has to go check out his skeleton every morning or something. Like, you can see clothes on the floor here. So this doesn't necessarily mean, even if these aren't from the day, this doesn't actually show what Nick is saying at all. It's incredibly dishonest. But he goes on to show the next photo, I believe, in just a second.
That we're so covered in bottles that you can't put anything on them. There's no surface visible. So there's this, and let me grab the other picture of the other side of that entry area in the kitchen. So like I said, the entire time, this was definitely laundry day. We were doing laundry. Our laundry room is right off of this entry room. So sometimes when we're doing laundry
I'm kidding myself now, because I should have had that clip from Terminator where it's like laundry day, no clean clothes. We need like an AI edit of that where it's like skinny Nick and the cops are like laundry day, no clean clothes.
7 people, you get a lot of it. And you have to lay it out. You have to, first of all, you have to get it organized into.
Imagine having 2 bitches in your house and nobody's doing laundry. Whoops. I mean, it's true though, right? Like, what does either of them do apart from suck up all his coke? What is he doing? Oh dear.
different color piles so you can actually manage
Shouldn't
it.
there be like a
But here you go.
spotless house? I mean, doesn't Coke make people work out? Like, doesn't Coke make people want to do shit and give them energy? Like, I have heard stories of a lot of people cleaning on Coke, actually.
So you can see there is quite a bit of laundry.
All right, so this is the picture. Well, let's get the close-up details, shall we? Let's take a look. Here we go. All right, chat, what are we thinking? Do you think this is from the day? I believe that this one is from the day. I think for whatever else, this is a legitimate photo because the best lies have a little bit of truth inside them. Enhance, what do you want to see? Well, first of all, he's a liar. He's a liar because he said these were separated by colors. This is literally just an entire pile of trash. I mean, this looks accurate to me. There is no countertop area here, except for maybe here. And worst of all, the tissue paper isn't on the tissue paper rack, as PP says. Oh my goodness. No knives. Where are all the knives? His knife block is knifeless. His paintings unhung. His laundry. Like mountains of laundry. Now, some people have also suggested that this photo may not be even from the day itself. This may be Nick's idea of like improvement. We don't know. Ultimately, until we see or if we see the body cam footage, we won't know. I will suggest it'll be very funny if it turns out that all this is a lie. And don't worry, I know some people are trying to remind me that there was a difference in the puppy gate. We're gonna get to puppy gate, which is kind of very funny now that I think about it. Later in, okay. When we get there, we'll get there, okay.
And there is stuff on the counter. Like I'm guilty of that 100%. Sorry that there's stuff on the counter. I don't know what to say or how I should be punished for this.
Well, your kids were taken away for 77 days. That's how you're punished for this. You're under investigation for 6 months. And now you've got 5 years of government mandated childhood lessons where you're not allowed to have any drinks or guns. So I don't know how I should get punished for this. 5 years probation, apparently.
But here you go. These are, like I said, this is where they were confronted with no possible way of navigating like all of the stuff.
This is not a good photo for illustrating that. There's no possible way to navigate. If you want to show that it's possible to navigate through this mess, you're going to have to show a path through this mess. The countertop leads from, like, there could be space here. There could be space here, but the countertop goes seamlessly into the pile of trash. This photo does not show, like, the only floor space I can see in this photo is this area over here by the window. Okay. That's the only part that I can see in actual floor space. So this very much could be exactly like Lady K says it. Now, on the Kino Casino, they had a very clever thing that I wouldn't have thought to do. They had the clutter image rating bedroom, and they had this for every room. And the consensus between Lady K and the secondary person said that almost every room was an average of 4 or a 5. And in many of them, it was on the upper scale of these. So here we have the clutter scale. This is 1. This is like a normal house. This is 2, a little bit of mess that you need to clean up the next day. 3, this is when you have a problem. If your room looks like this, you have a problem. It's from the farms? Okay, well, I saw it on there. Okay. I don't see everything on the farms. I know people will find that hard to believe. Level 4 is like actually mental illness. This is mental illness, okay? 5 is just like you can lose it. You're losing pugs in these pile, okay? If your kids go in there, then maybe they're not coming out. They said it was a 4 or a 5 in almost every room. Now, Nick refused to show his bedroom, any of his children's bedrooms. He refused to show quite a lot. He only curated several photos that show looks like unused storage rooms. So it makes sense that those may be clean, okay? But this is not illustrating the story that he wants to put forward. This is a mistake. This is whoa, buddy, this is a mistake. Nick saw this and he thought that, yeah, he's like, you know what? People will see this and they'll say, yeah, I'm a little bit messy, but it's not terrible. This is a nightmare. Look, when we're watching those Japanese rat girl or roach girl cleaning videos, their houses look like this. And they had to hire the Kansai cleaning crew to come and fix their situation. Well, that's another detail I think I forgot to say, or maybe Nick will say it later on, is that Nick claims, that there was he claims that there was no cleaning service in Kandy-Yohai. Let me bring that up. I think I've got that handy actually. Here it is. It's by Scarebro, our favorite skeleton intern on the show. He says, Nick has never lied. Rekietalaw claims there is no maid services in his area. Someone pointed out that Nick hired a cleaning service when he sold his second home, and they took a picture of their thank you card, and it included it in the real estate photos. Apparently, the logo is very easy to tie to a local woman in the area who advertises all over social media, but I'll not include this. So you can see here, yeah, man, this is totally normal for a house with 5 kids, a dad with enough money for a maid service. They don't have maid services out here. I looked. Except they did have maid services. And Sean had a very funny comment after this. He says, he's living in a cleaning desert. Don't question it. The people in central Minnesota suffer from a myopia of cleaning. Now, I think what's happening here is that there's cleaning services in Candy, Ohio. Okay, there's obviously cleaning services. I think that Nick has got blacklisted from them. He probably hired them in the past, and he was either doing something. He was either weird to them. They gave him the ick. Of course, many women that have seen Nick in public have said that he has a dark aura. He exudes he's got like negative aura. In fact, when we saw that picture from Lady K, he's worm maxing. His spine is like scoliosis or something. It's quite spooky, honestly. So probably there are cleaning services, and he probably did try to call them at some point. But I think they said, I'm sorry, we've been warned about your house. Now, they were willing to go to the second house, but maybe they didn't know who he was. That would be so I think there's a little bit of truth in both sides. Nick is obviously lying when he says there's no cleaning services, but what he means is there is no cleaning services that feel comfortable going to his house. Jacob Hansen with another 20 Donkey Kong dollars says, Scarebro must have some explaining to do. Yes, he does. What is he doing in that house? It was an inside job. Drexkin. I'm pretty sure one of the people that saw the body cam already said that a lot of the pictures do not match what they saw on the body cam. Yes, we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. Specifically with the Puppygate detail. The Pie Baker for 5 says, please let there be a single shoe on the kitchen counter. That's an old meme. That belongs in a museum, but us long-time viewers, we know what it means. We know what it means. Those are the good times back in the fairer days. But that would be very funny. I really hope that does happen. I'm surprised I didn't think about that, actually. With another 20 Donkey Kong dollars. Can you see the floor in the kitchen? I can see it over in the corner. I can't see it here. It's obscured by the countertop. So there could be like literally bags of trash on the other side of this countertop. We don't know. And Nick refuses to show even a single frame. Now, to be fair, if I was in his position, I would not show a single frame either, because again, that would be showing that, like, well, I don't really care about my privacy that much. I just care about getting W's on the internet. But he shouldn't have showed any of this. There was somebody suggested that maybe he should have just done a walkthrough with his phone on his now clean house, if it is clean, and said, look, I'm going to show you inside my house. And he's like, look, haters, I've got a clean house. That would be much better, in my opinion. Do you guys think that? I feel like that would have been better, even though it would be like a cop-out because he's not showing the body cam. He's like, yeah, it was a pigsty. This is what my house looks now. You have nothing to complain about. But that would mean that he would have to clean his house again. It's probably laundry day today, actually. You never know. It's laundry day every day. It's like Groundhog Day. Cindy Collins with the 5 says, no. You're thinking of a man with 2 knives? Very base Simpsons reference. That is fantastic. Unfortunately, Nick only has 1 knife now.
Was this from the same day? Yes. Every one of these pictures is taken by a police officer.
I like it how even 3 minutes into this, and this isn't the whole stream, obviously, but seconds after he starts showing the photos, people immediately don't buy his shit. They're like, are you sure this is from the same day? Not sure about that. Now we have some other posts. MommaKay also said, so one actual legit photo, the drugs. So that's when we see the drug photo, that's going to be the one that's legit. By the way, I wrote in my report and I said there was racks of a lot of clean clothes. So this is a really funny point that I should save this one actually, because we're going to get to the racks of clean clothes, which is so fucking stupid. I can't believe Nick actually showed that. And I'll tell you why in a second when we get there. Let me see. Move out of Minnesota. Stay tuned. Late on payments. I don't know why I have that one. That's actually not important. Let me see. Let's see. MommaKay, can you talk to Sean or someone, not Will Heron, and say how these compare to what you saw? Because those aren't for the same day. MommaKay is on the record saying these are not from the same day. Now, actually, one interesting detail was that MommaKay revealed today that Will Heron deleted the interview that he did with her because she thought it was unprofessional. He was toothless. He was on anesthesia. He was in Mexico. And there was music playing. So she thought it was unprofessional and she asked him to take it down. So I think people were a little bit hard on Will, honestly. I mean, I've chatted with him a bit. He obviously doesn't seem to like Aaron very much. But I think people are a little bit too hard on Will, honestly. At least in my interactions with me, seems to be fine. But she did clarify that today. We'll get to that later. Okay.
You'll actually see one of the police officers.
No, he was
in one of the
he was getting dental work. Yeah, he was toothless at that time.
pictures because there's a mirror, and I'll show you.
I like Will. He's fine.
We'll get there.
You guys are mean to him.
But so this is this is what is discussed, and absolutely, like there's a bunch of laundry out. There's a painting that I haven't hung up yet. That kind of sucks. I want to hang that painting, but it's heavy.
He's weak. Now, I told you he had skinny girl arms, okay? I told you. He can't even hang his own painting. Is this painting a monument to the unknown handyman as well? He can't put doors on his cupboards. He can't put his paintings on walls. How embarrassing. I think today he confirmed, or at least he joked about the Joker painting actually being worth $75,000. So he's just like throwing these like tax evasion or paintings, I would assume. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I would venture a guess that many of his paintings were bought with his parents' money and he uses it to evade taxes or at least reduce his tax burden because they're charitable donations to buy them at the Zooluminati or something. But this is what you have when you don't, well, I guess you stay inside all day and just do drugs and shit. Couldn't be me.
It takes a lot of work. In the spot to hang, it's kind of inconvenient. So it's been a minute. Show metadata, you lying liar. Okay. Like, do you want me to? Why do you?
Let's see. So Watermelon wanted to clarify as saying, he said the pictures were taken by detectives, not that they were from the raid. Nick never lives. Did he make that detail? He said this was on the day. And the EXIF data of this photo says from like 9:30. So which I think that lines up with the time. I mean, for whatever else, I do believe this photo was taken on the day.
Is this?
That is an interesting detail, though. Nick does lie about that, things like that as well, because he only shows, I believe, the data for one photo. So that puts every other photo into question.
Like, I don't know. I figured I would post a.
Like, I'm not going to accept.
Like,
I'm not going to accept second day exit data. It's so easy to change. You just
Can
Google.
we see the metadata on this photo? Okay, so maybe let me figure out how to get it. I will show you.
He's a boomer. You just right click on the photo and you say properties. That's how you find the data, by the way. Do people not know this? Like, I know this is the man that gave Keanu a hard time for not being able to find her call history or something. He's also a boomer.
Okay, here you go. Maybe this helps. So here's a picture up top. And
I mean, this does sync with the time, right? Because the raid starts at 9:11. It was Nick's personal 9:11. So this is 10 minutes. So actually, that's kind of funny because I would suggest that it took them 10 minutes to get from the door to the kitchen to take this photo because it was so cluttered that they had to rearrange the forts and the tunnels that the children were burying through just to get outside and get some fresh air.
You check this Thursday, May 23rd, 2024, 9:24 a.m. Exactly. And then if I go, I think, hold on one second. Just going to make sure what I think is popping up is popping up. Here you go. So then here's the rest of it. So here's the location. Here's the.
There was actually a really funny thing where somebody said like, "Oh, careful, man, you're gonna get doxxed." Yeah, you shouldn't share your EXIF data, ever, because it can dox you with GPS locations. But it was kind of a very funny comment because like literally everybody knows where he is. Now, not that you should share it, obviously, but I thought that was a kind of a funny detail. It's like at this point we're too far gone.
It was taken on the Apple iPhone 13. I use a Samsung Ultra 24 Plus or whatever. Here's the image, and I have it stored on this device.
This is very unfortunate. So when Officer Pomplom is sending his super chats to Nick, he only gets 50% because Apple takes like a 20% tax on top of YouTube's 30% tax. So that's why Nick's is a based Android user who gets 70% of the super chat. Unbelievable. Officer Pomplom, he's sending in those troll chats, and he's not even getting the full amount.
There. So I don't know. Is that sufficient for you? Can I see a picture of the cat? There is a picture of the cat in here.
Cat bros, we're eating good today.
Win.
Sorry, that's the wrong sunny picture. Yeah, cat bros, we're eating good. We're eating good today, cat bros. It's so cute. Like, for whatever else, we can criticize Nick for, he does have a very adorable ginger cat. That's nice. It's Button.
What are you talking about? There's literally no way to satisfy you at all.
Yeah, probably true. That's why this was a mistake. More information is just a mistake. This is why you don't talk to cops. It's the same reason you don't show your private shit to chat. Okay, it's not good.
So I guess we'll just move on.
Oh my goodness!
All right.
PPP button.
So let's go into my office. Here's the first one. Here's a look in the door. As you can see, there is nowhere to possibly go in there. The floor is completely covered.
Well, no. The statement in the document says that the streaming area is curated to look like it's clean, so that the background, and a lot of people do this. Again, this only shows us a slice of the streaming room, but it makes perfect sense to me that this room would be, at least behind him, would be clear. But we don't see the Joker box. There's like a box with a bunch of question marks on it. It's like the Joker box or something. I want to see that. I want to see that. But like, this is actually consistent, I suppose, with at least the report. But again, Lady K says that these photos are from a different day. But I could absolutely understand this. And I actually know a friend. I have a friend. He streams on Twitch. I feel bad for him because like he doesn't know that I stream, but he gets about 10 live viewers a day, and he's been doing it for about like 2 years. And I just feel bad for him because he's trying really hard. But like, I went to his house one day, and he's got the exact same thing. His entire room, like his stream box window, is really clean. But then, like, if you go like a second out of it, he's got like McDonald's wrappers and KFC things and like garbage everywhere. So streamers absolutely do this. In fact, I could have all this garbage right here. You'd never know. I'd never show you. It's not BP. No, BP doesn't stream.
And inaccessible. Bottles are everywhere, literally covering the ground.
Wait, there's a bottle right there. I can see a bottle right here. And like, people have seen this photo on the farms before, where there's like two people sitting here, and they see behind his screen, and there is bottles everywhere. And that was years ago. Does anyone have that photo? If someone's got that photo up handy, I know that's not really relevant to today's the BodyCam viewing here, but I would like to show the difference of perspective and what is behind it. Because Nick was saying that I think Nick says that he was saving all his bodies. All his he was saving all his bottles because Kayla wanted to do like a cool art project or something with it. You know what's a cool art project? Cleaning your fucking house.
It's all fair and accurate. I think it's
true and honest.
That's a true description of what was going on. Now I know what you're thinking. This is outside the office, so I will show you inside the office. Oh.
I have so much time for projects.
So there is there are bottles on the floor. Absolutely. There's Reese's peanut butter cups down here.
All right, let's have a look. So this is where we have to expose Lady K a bit. She said there was 5 screens. This is one big screen that's split into 2 things. So you could count this as 2 screens, but this is one screen. I believe this is a Wacom drawing pad or something. These are not screens. But this would have been turned off. Like, actually, what is he leaving this guy's leaving his lights on all night because his computer's still fucking left on. This is the locals chat, right? This is first of all, it's funny that the screen has got his locals chat like just rolling up here right there. But that means he left his lights on all night because he didn't even turn his PC off from the morning from the Coke. Like, this is literally after the Coke stream. So he did his Coke stream. He left his room with his lights turned on, and you can see the bottles on the floor, by the way. Down here, I can see at least 4 bottles here. You can see he's got his little drinky cup there, got his energy drink. You can see at least another like 5-7 bottles down here, like right behind here, like where this screen is obscuring things, because Nick chose these photos. He chose the best pictures that he thought would represent his life. This room is totally covered with bottles from what I've seen.
You can see. Those are delicious. My desk is a mess.
Yeah, I don't have a messy desk. I've got a messy
take
desk
the time
too.
to clean it between shows because you don't really need to all the time. Although I like having a cleaner workspace.
You can leave your computer turned on, but you got to turn off your fucking lights. I mean, these are nice lights though. Like, these are the same ones. I just bought one of these lights and they're very nice. I'm thinking about getting 2, but I'm okay with 1 at the moment.
But
where does the corner demon sit? There's a chair right here, and if you go back to the previous photo, let me see. Where's the streaming room? So you can see there is a. Okay, you can see his Brawly statue up here. By the way, nerd. There's a chair over here. Another whiskey bottle down here, by the way. I believe that is a Macallan? There's a chair here which seems to be covered with I believe this is the corner demon chair actually, because it's covered with blankets. So when April sits down on there nude, she doesn't get her well, the chair doesn't get, you know, irreparably damaged.
Behind the desk, I kept all of the empty liquor bottles that I had. You can see them up here on top of the shelves.
So that's accurate. The story is just accurate. Then the floor was covered in bottles.
Kayla and I have, well, she has plans for various art projects to make cool stuff out of them.
Yeah, but not cleaning the house. That would be a cool art project. Now, some people have said this is a gooning station. That's why he's got toilet paper here and all these lights. So he can goon in surround sound or something. I don't know about that, but pretty crazy.
And we thought it would be fun to keep them, and we had space for it. There are a bunch of bottles on the floor. This is 7 years of drinking daily, right? Why is there toilet paper on the desk? Well, because I was doing a lot of cocaine, and sometimes I needed to blow my nose, Spectre. So yeah, this is my desk setup. It's cool. It's different now. I changed it around.
Is this a cool battle station, chat? How do we rank this battle station from 1 to 10? I've seen some pretty cool battle stations in my time. For me, I've got 2 screens. I've got one here, one here. So usually I'm looking at the stream like this over here. It's my stream setup and everything. And then I've got the light up there, and I've only got 2 screens. So I have the myopia of poverty or whatever. But I think I do pretty well with it. I like having my two same size screens. I don't know about having a second screen that's smaller. That's a bit weird. Like when you drag a tab over or something, it's going to be resized, and I don't know about this. People are saying a 3, -3, 4, -1, like 4. There's a lot of 4s. Looks like a consensus is 3 or 4.
Quite a bit.
It's got a nice microphone though.
Camera angle.
It's a good microphone.
That being said,
wait, aren't you supposed to talk into these microphones sideways? Like, this is something that people do, is they talk into microphones like they're dildos and they're about to like gobble them down. But like typically most microphones, especially expensive microphones, you're not supposed to talk to them like this. You're supposed to talk to them like that. I could be wrong though. I kind of feel like Nick sieved about this one time as well. Like maybe he actually went on and looked for a microphone he could talk directly into, like he's about to gobble down Aaron's, well, you know, the big toe. I vaguely remember him seething about that. But maybe it's just my memory going in my old age.
yeah, I think that matches the description just fine.
Depends on the mic. Yeah, maybe.
Nick, why didn't you have your nanny pick up the house? Oh wait, it wasn't her job to pick up the house. She did some mild cleaning, usually like dishes and stuff. But
yeah, and this, like most nannies, I think this is fairly accurate as well. The nanny's job is just to look after the kids. You want a housekeeper is what they're looking for.
But she wasn't expected to pick up the house. It wasn't her responsibility. They go through a bag full of brown glass bottles, each one wrapped in tissues. So those glass
Now, yeah, we were actually wondering what these were, but like in retrospect, these make sense because I actually do remember this, that Nick got these expensive bottles of whiskey that were like they were like $1,700 bottles or something. I actually do remember this, so I rank this part as true. But then I think also he had bottles of DMT or something that you also wrap in tissue or something.
bottles were these they're about this big. Do I have one?
Yeah, I do remember this from the old
I don't think I have any around anymore. But anyway, they were about this big, and
there's one other detail that might be inaccurate in Kay's report, but apart from that, her report seems to be fine.
They were like 2 ounces basically or of really, really expensive whiskeys that someone sent in. So like whiskeys that were 1,500 samples from their collect next to them, like explaining. But anyway,
okay, don't care about those.
Like because they were labeled with an abbreviation. But anyway, that's the mystery of the brown glass bottles that were wrapped in tissues. Trumpinator says, Nick, you need to sell movie rights about all this. Holy shit.
Actually, this could be slightly inaccurate because I remember Nick said he had DMT. Was that? And that gets wrapped up in tissue paper to keep the UV light out. Am I correct? I don't know. I'm not good with drugs, chat. You can help me out here. At least one of you in the chat must know. I'm not sure. When I remember these whiskey sampler bottles, I thought they had printed labels. Like it was kind of like an artisanal thing, right? Like it was like fancy. They're like, I mean, it's like $1,500 bottles of whiskey sample sizes. They should be fancy, right? I'm not sure if they were tissue. I believe there was printed stickers. At least that's my recollection of it.
No kidding. Except
DMT
no,
would be foil
I would
wrapped?
prefer
Okay.
to just move
I'll
on
defer to the chat on this
with
one.
my life and like, go back to work and laugh at funny stuff. But here you go. So here is the down.
Okay. So now when we were reading the report, we heard about a cushion or a couch that was turned upside down, and then you can see Button down there. Good boy. Now apparently, and I think Steel Toe actually mentioned this as well, that these are like the kids' couches and they throw them around to make forts. So when we were doing this, we were like maybe wondering if there was like a couch that Nick had like flipped over in Tard Rage or something. It seems like this is what that was, but I think this is a fair mistake to make. I think that's the only other mistake. I think that was the 3 mistakes that I counted in the report, the discrepancy from either Nick or Aaron, which sounds plausible. Like it was the 5 screens was incorrect. The couches seem to be incorrect, but this doesn't necessarily mean the couch that was flipped up wrong. Like there could be another couch. It's just we assume that this is the couch. And then the I guess it would be the glass bottles.
Downstairs.
Those are like and that's like really minor stuff. This is not this is not good. Okay, this is not good.
Kid area, we have our kids play several instruments.
Good
You can
cat,
see
though.
over here.
We're eating good today, cat chats.
Over here we have
Cat
a marimba.
chats.
Behind this pillar, there's a full drum set and then a piano as well. The kids all have violins in a different room, stuff like that. But so this is an area.
She specified a love seat. I think she did, didn't she? But a love seat, isn't that typically like a reclining chair? Like some people might describe it as such. Not sure. I have to ask her. I believe that Lady K and the other person, the other witness, are going to compare notes, and they're going to specifically write. I think they're writing out a new document that shows the things that they said compared to Nick and what he showed, which might be interesting to go through when it's completed if they're doing that.
Area. These are these like couch cushion things that kids can build into different forts and stuff. There's a cat. The cat lives outside, but it got in when
The love seat is the brown chair that we see, but this one's not turned up. Like in the report, it was that there was a chair that was turned over at the bottom of the staircase. I see a staircase here, so I would assume that this would have to be these. Now, again, Nick is not showing us the full picture, so we could not make a correct conclusion. That's important to remember with all of this, is that Nick is showing us selected information that he decided would be good. And I think he has bad judgment, but ultimately, how many photos were taken and why were these the ones that he showed us?
police busted open the door.
He's only going to work. He's only going to work for his own benefit. So in every one of these photos, we have to maybe consider that that's the mistake. Although I would think that this would be taken on the day as well, because like the cat is apparently an inside cat, an outside cat, and one of the children carried the cat out. So this would make sense. I mean, not that they couldn't have the cat inside another time, but I believe that happened in the recordings as well, that the child picked up a cat. So at least the kids are stronger than Nick, because he couldn't pick up this chonky boy, since he can't even pick up his own paintings. But that would track for me. Like I said, I think it's probably a little bit unpopular, but I think that a lot of these photos probably are from the day. I'm not sure about this one.
Right. Is that the real cat? Yes. This is trying to see if I can. This is Button. Button has a dark spots on his nose, so that's how you can tell. It might be hard for you guys to see, but he has a brother named Lion who looks almost identical to him, slightly different coloration, but you can tell by the nose usually. So here.
The cat does look like he's judging them, doesn't he? When you like zoom in, he like he's like, this is it. I've been outside my entire fucking life. I come inside for the first time, and this is what I've been missing. You know how cats are always trying to get inside, and you gotta you open the door and they try and run past your legs, and you gotta try and block them. He's like, let me in, and he's like, this is it. This place looked like he's like looking at the outside. He's like, this is gonna be amazing when I get inside, and he's like, what the fuck is this? Also, there is bowl. It looks like a bowl of food on the ground here. That's kind of not a good look.
Here you go. This is part of the kids' common area. That they're not the best at cleaning up. Oh, there's also a xylophone back here in the back.
It's just like Ethan Van Sciver said, those lazy kids. Now, kids should have a responsibility to clean up. Make no mistake. But ultimately, it's the parents that teach the kids how to be responsible. And sometimes you have to pick up for your kids. But I mean, that's what the EVS one, or was it the Dick Masterson or whatever, those lazy damn kids. Why didn't they do some laundry, right? Oh, very sad news, though, actually. It seems that Ethan Van Sciver, one of the last Baldo washers, has left the plantation. He's left the bunker, as he said that Keanu was absolutely destroying Nick. And Nick called him a retard or something, and has now added him to the death note. So unfortunately, EVS could not make it out alive. But nothing ever happens, so he'll probably be okay. Although he's fat, and he also licks urinals for some reason. That's very strange.
Like a Marimbas are a little bit different.
One day we actually have to watch the EVS licking the urinal video where he's doing coke and then he like straight up licks a urinal. It's disgusting. Apparently he's the throat goat as well. Like he goes behind. I don't know about that. All I know about EVS is that he was stupid enough to believe Rekieta's lies until today, and fat enough to believe them too.
Down. There's a xylophone. I'll show you the other angle of that room, and I will admit this is much messier, and you know, this is annoying because like, hey kids, clean up your space. Maybe that'd be cool. But
I mean, kids should clean up their space, but this is your house, Nick. Maybe take your own advice. Holy shit.
Here's.
I mean, oh no! What the fuck is this?
Here's this part. The other side of that.
Does this look reasonable, chat? Wait, where's this photo? Now, I should mention also that a lot of these photos are weird aspect ratios. Now, this not necessarily meaning anything, but some people have said that, like, you know, when you take photos on an iPhone, they're typically all the same size, unless you go into, like, you know, the portrait mode or something like that. Do you actually specifically crop it, you know, like 1:1 for Instagram or something like that? But a lot of these photos are different aspect ratios. Now, that suggests that someone decided to crop these images for some reason, perhaps because he wanted to crop out the extent of the destruction. We don't know. But are we okay with this photo? Does this look like a safe place to be for children? When the floor is described as dirty and impossible to navigate. I mean, yeah, over here you're okay. How the fuck are you getting past here? They're dusty. Apparently there were moldy smells in the house. I think the air conditioner was like completely covered in mold or something. I think I remember hearing that. This does not look like, oh, it's just laundry. It's just laundry day, chat. It's just laundry day. Look, when you've got young kids, this is dangerous. This is dangerous. Matt from Tinder. Oh my goodness. That Matt from Tinder. He joined as a YouTube member. Thank you very much. And Jacob Hansen says, just say no to drugs. On the other hand, if you're talking to your drugs, you probably already said yes. That's good advice. I've never heard that one before. All right, let's continue.
Couch, basically. And so, yeah, we have some arcade machines and stuff like that. The kids have clutter on the ground. I don't know. I see the floor.
I mean, yeah, you can see the floor. But I don't think this is what you want to be showing people. Like, how much the floor is visible here? Like 40%? Every single centimeter of the floor does not have to be covered for Kay's report to be accurate. When you say the floor is covered, this is the floor being covered. This makes sense. I think, like, you know, there are people, they see the world differently. Like, it's I think people have described it as like you can see the same picture and it's like a different movie's playing in your head. Does Nick see this and think like, well, that's just fine? The people will see this and they'll just say this is perfect. I would describe this as the floor is covered and that it's hard to move around the room. Yes, I would describe that as this. And this is the living room or something. Didn't even show us the most cluttered parts of the article, which is apparently the entryway.
Look, I see the floor, which is surprising. That's not always true. That's not always true. So the kids are doing a good job here. It's not the best job, but it's better.
EVS is still furious that Eric Jablai made a comic book. I heard that actually EVS shipped his comic book finally. So congratulations for him. He's no longer scamming his people for Cyberfrog, maybe? I don't know. I mean, if he actually did some work, good for him.
Then
he's sitting in his little like Dr. Robotnik helicopter and he's delivering the comics personally. Asmongold probably looks better than this. I mean, that's a pretty good comment. It's a pretty good comment.
It's better than normal. This is the bathroom. This is the finding of the safe. So the safe is in a locked bathroom, an ensuite bathroom. There's no access to it except to go through the master bedroom.
Now, apparently the master bedroom is in direct view line from the entryway to the house, you know, with some slight corners. Of course, we don't know that. I mean, I guess you could look at the layout of the house on Zillow, but I'm not going to. Apparently, it's very easy to get this, and it's so central location that it would be very easy to hear any shouting, any wild sex matches, whatever's going on in the Minnesota King. And it seems very likely that this bathroom is used by many people since its central location. Now, I believe that this is I want to say it's a Hornady rapid safe. So these, like Nick described this safe as having 3 different ways of opening. It has RFID chips, it has a regular key, and it also has, I think, a password. Now, I was thinking about, like, could the kids get into this by typing in random passwords? I was thinking more of like the sliding dial. So I think this is a digital one that probably locks out. So it would be safe, I suppose, to prevent children from getting in. But these typically come with like 4 or 5 keys, and you can also set up your phone to unlock them. So the idea that, like Nick has said, that like Kayla and April could not get into this, he was the only one with the key, that's just straight up bullshit. Now, he says he couldn't remember they couldn't remember the combination, so it's true. But weren't they filling up cocaine when the cops arrived? So it was already open. So Nick is just a liar. I mean, we know he's a liar because he said he took the safe everywhere. He didn't take it on the day in question, and they found the cocaine sitting out when the cops were there. It took them 10 minutes. So just a little detail I thought I'd throw in there. Not wildly important, but I do believe that is. I won't show it on screen for a certain reason because it's got a gun in it. Now, Nick said he didn't want to show any of the guns because you can get in trouble on YouTube. That is technically kind of true. You're not supposed to show them on streams, but you're not supposed to have real guns. You're not supposed to have real guns on stream. Pictures of guns are usually okay, but YouTube is sometimes very lame about that, and people have been flagged in the past.
And it was in
AI typically does it
right here, which is under this counter.
Also, 1,300 viewers. Let's fucking go. The 500 are really pulling their weight. Be
Live,
sure
not
to
the
like
same
the
day,
stream.
100. No, I'm sorry, you dumb bitch. These are all taken by the.
We've only got with 900 people have not liked this stream. I have to remind YouTube that I'm here. Otherwise, they won't show my stream to anybody.
Hit like if you like the show. If you don't like the show, don't hit like or hit thumbs down. Be like, this guy sucks. I don't mind. But if you do like the show, hit that like button. It really does. I gotta remind YouTube that I'm here. They are not distributing things out.
Yeah, the YouTube, they're not distributing things out. They're shadow banning me. It's a conspiracy. All right. Someone says, can you bring up the file size? All right. A lot of these photos are different aspect ratios. You see how they're all like weirdly positioned? So you can see like this streaming computer, the entire top's been cropped out for some reason. I'm not sure why. It seems like the bottom part has been removed. I would imagine that this is the top of the photo and the bottom was removed there for some reason. Oh, muted. Okay. There you go. This one is much heavily cropped. And again, I would say that the crop part comes from the bottom. Now, this isn't necessarily proof that they were cropped by Nick. Maybe it was just some weird aspect of using an iPhone. I don't know. But that has been pointed out that many of these images all have different aspect ratios. It's very, very strange. I was not muted. Are you guys just trolling me now? Did I actually fall for it? Am I actually just boomer now? I don't know. We'll go back. It's fine.
I mean,
no, we're just going to continue.
This is a safe. So when I said, like, I would bring it with me, you know, when we would leave the house, I would bring it with me when we would leave the house. Well, you know, we never left that safe alone with the children or anything like that. There's some confusion.
Now, was the safe never left by the children? Maybe that's true. But Nick did leave his cocaine built in his car with his daughter. Now, when people brought this up, he said, like, well, actually, I just put it in the little pocket of the door. That's leaving the cocaine alone in your car with your daughter because you didn't want it to be caught when the cops frisked you. You decided that it would be better to leave cocaine in your car with your daughter rather than get caught. And frankly, the idea that he couldn't even drop his daughter off to piano practice or wherever they were going without having an emergency bump. Imagine living like that. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Better fill up on my cocaine just in case. And apparently they were up all night because they were doing drugs. That's not a safe road trip, I'm afraid.
About the bathrooms in general, because so the police took the safe out of that main bathroom and they took it out to the driveway and they cracked open the safe in the driveway using a sledgehammer and an axe or something like that.
Not very safe after all.
Once they cracked open the safe, they brought everything back in to the front bathroom, which is right by our front door.
Is that the same bathroom though?
So
Or is it
I just want to reiterate that police found drugs, right?
Okay.
And they brought it back into the house
Okay.
and then into the front entryway area where
Okay.
drugs were not present before. And they touched all the door handles. They, this is where they would eventually touch my daughter's head too.
Oh my God.
That being said, here.
You know who brought drugs into your house and touched all the door handles? You. Your pillow tested positive for cocaine. Now Nick said that he would not show the photos from the bedroom, and he said, well, it's privacy reason. It's all privacy reason. Now, yeah, that's fine, fair, whatever. There was kids' toys in the master bedroom and cocaine on his pillow. Now, people said, like, maybe it's because he's snorting up the coke and then going to sleep and his nose is dripping on the pillow. Maybe he's just infused with cocaine. We don't know. But that means anytime one of the kids, and he had young kids in the house, and this happens a lot with young kids, they want to go and they have a scary dream and they want to sleep in their parents' bed. So anytime those kids put their head on your pillow, they were being exposed to cocaine. But it's the cops. The cops, they took the drugs outside. They covered they washed their hands in cocaine, and they touched all of my door handles. Okay, what? And then they touched my daughter's hair. Nick, you were using drugs every fucking day. You were touching every surface in your house. What is more likely? That you exposed your daughter to coke, or the cops did it in the, 2 hours they were there? I'm sorry, the metabolite study that you posted does not make sense. You do not get the cocaine metabolites inside the hair from slightly sweaty hair. It's supposed to be boiling water, and the test that they did this on is barely even science. I don't even think it's repeatable under most circumstances. It's absolute quackery that he's using to explain this, but he's just trying to use like half-truths and information deprivation from his audience to try and say, like, well, I got my kids back, so clearly I must be okay. No, I'm gonna take a break from Nick from a second, and we're gonna go to the Kino Casino. The Kino Casino, they had a clip today with Lady K. There's a great stream. I implore you all to watch it. This is the woman that wrote the report that we have seen. And I wanted to play this part. And actually, when I went back to look for this clip, as I was watching today, it's a good show. I love the Kino Casino. I heard this part, and I was like, I have to show this because this is so interesting.
Turned to him. And because they were returned to him, I think, what was it, within 200 days or something like this?
So it was
he
77
tries to
days.
say, well, that proves that, my daughter obviously didn't test positive for cocaine. Why would they return them to me if that was the case? Blah, blah, blah. But you're saying, you can contradict that narrative of his.
Yes.
So this
Minnesota
is
known as one of the worst states as far as this goes. So I'm going to read the notes I have on it. Hundreds of children in Minnesota are harmed annually when returned to homes where the initial issues leading to their removal, like abuse or neglect, remain unresolved. From 2012 to 2022, 86 children died.
All right, so I said it was a year. I was way off. Okay, so it's an average like 10 children a year die in Minnesota specifically because they're returned to abusive homes that because the CPS wants to return their kids to their home, but hundreds of children are being harmed in this way in Minnesota. So when Nick says, well, the kids just got returned because we were the greatest parents ever. No. People go back to these bad situations all the time. This clip, I think, is so important.
For maltreatment, and 11 others committed suicide following child protection cases. This highlights systematic failures in ensuring safe environments before reunification. Minnesota screens only about 31% of reports. They only screen 31% of the reports that come in.
And remember that, like, when we went on our last stream, there was an allegation from Kiwi Farms that there are sealed CPS documents regarding Nick being violent with his wife and child. Did they just slip through the cracks? Is that what's happening? It's like I said, I think that a dam is about to break. And I think that Nick's like, well, what are they going to talk about? It seems like there's a lot that he's been I guess he's just trusting the system, hoping it's not going to come out. But I have a feeling it is.
Of neglect and abuse. That's
Crazy.
the average is 50%. This low screening rate often delays interventions, leaving children in risky situations. A big problem is a decentralized system across Minnesota. So Minnesota has over 80 plus small little counties.
In each county, there's no oversight from the state, is what you're saying.
They're fragmented. They each have their own oversight, and they all vary in how they respond to them. So there's not one central, like one way they all respond. They each respond differently. So it leaves inconsistencies. So parental drug use, including cases involving substances like cocaine, often factor into child removal. However, proving direct parental responsibility for a child's exposure can be challenging without evidence of deliberate endangerment or negligence, which may explain why criminal charges are not always pursued. So it seems like if they can't prove exactly how a child was exposed, if they can't have a specific story of how it happened, they don't bring charges.
Even if they test positive.
Even if they test positive, they need to know. Yeah.
So there you go. There you go. Even if children test positive for cocaine, there are situations in Candy, Ohio, well, maybe not Candy, but Minnesota, where kids are returned to their homes. And remember, Nick's case, at least according to Aaron, 45 days is the average. Nick got him back in 77, 6-month investigation. So if anyone brings up this bullshit argument, like, well, the kids came back, so it must mean nothing have happened. Like, first of all, I've been saying this since the beginning. It's like, well, that means OJ must not have done it, right? Now, yes, you have to be proven guilty in a court of law. Yes, you're innocent until proven guilty, but people fall through the cracks all the fucking time. This is not an explanation. There was a test that tested positive. For some reason, the county did not pursue it, and Nick thinks that that's good enough. He has no explanation. He never appealed to his lawyer to get a second test. He never got it tested independently after he got them back after 77 days. Remember, the cutoff is typically 90 days, so he would have had like another, 23 days to test. Wait, no. That'd be 13 days. But it's just not an example. Like, I can't... People think that this answer is just good enough. It's just not good enough. There's a really good post on the Kiwi Farms I wanted to highlight. I'm going to save this to the end. I was going to save this to the end, but I feel like this is a good one to do now. This is a post by Melty TW. And he was responding to a chat that said, exactly as predicted, the ball dents will never learn until the immutable evidence is slapped right in front of their faces. And Melty said in response to this, I've repeated this, but it bears repeating. They know. They just don't care. When Doug was on the Keno Casino, his excuses was that the starving kids was okay. They don't care about kids. They have their boomer mindset of kids being otherwise worthless accessories to a cult of me, just like Nick Rekieta. It's their programming. They all think that chasing your desires unfettered from basic human decency is cool. The ones who don't think that left. The ones who don't think that left. You will never convince them, because they don't want to be convinced. If I remember correctly, Nick admitted to the cocaine, and some are still trying to BS you on Nick never having done cocaine. Now, do they do this out of ignorance? No. They know. They just hope that you don't have Nick admitting to it, so they can keep the convo on square one versus square two. You will never convince a Baldo washer because they don't want to be convinced. They're not interested in discussion. They're interested in whatever rhetorical tricks make you go away, or if they're from the anti-Kiwi Farms crowd, to make you also look bad. If it means implying you're a chomo for wanting to see Nick's lies exposed with his kids, not even in the footage, they'll say it, not because they believe it, but because they hope it's an effective strategy, because they're used to dealing with people who care enough about what they think of them to back down if there's a chance that they can be branded a pedo. Imagine they're having these convos with other people, IRL, with normal people. Most people back down in the face of intense gaslighting, no matter how obvious. A ton of people calling you a child molester, no matter how baseless. Well, fuck, I better apologize. Didn't mean to ruffle feathers. They're dishonest. and they are knowingly dishonest. It's just they didn't update the playbook of shit-heel liars who lie for people, who hold their opinions in complete and utter contempt, and who can tell them to fuck off when they randomly slander people. Too long didn't read. They know. They're just lying liars who lie. I think that's the case with a lot of these border washers. That's an amazing, amazing summary by Melty TW. So I wanted to credit them for that. And that's how this story's been going. It didn't happen. Well, it did happen. Okay. Well, it wasn't that bad. Oh, well, it was that bad. Well, maybe they deserved it. Interesting. I thought that was I don't think that Nick is a PDF. I don't think there's anything sexual with the kids or anything like that. I don't think I've ever said anything or implied that. It's quite a serious allegation, and I would only say it against someone if they had actual evidence or behavior pattern, like Melton, for example. But calling someone a PDF is a very effective way to offend them, because the immediate response to being called one is that you have to deny it. And then you're endlessly caught in a case of like, well, where did this come from? Why is there smoke? There's fire. Why? Like you can't waste time trying to denounce these like crazy rumors. And that's what Nick tried to do to me. He tried to say this about me because he didn't like what I was saying. And I didn't fall for his trap. I never complained about his joke. I just ignored it because I knew there was no evidence and no one would believe that. He was just trying to use his circular logic. Oh, well, you don't like these jokes when they're about you, huh? Didn't work. And he's called this about everybody. Everybody that's wants to see the conditions of his house. They don't want to see the kids, and they would not be able to see the house. So it's just the most effective way to get someone to shut up is to call them, like, either if you're on the left, you call someone a Nazi. If you're on the right, you call someone a pedo. You can call people on the right Nazis too, but typically they just don't give a shit.
This red bathroom is described at some point, and again, there's confusion because they're like, how could they find the safe? The bathroom had a pedestal sink, which is true. This bathroom has a pedestal sink. This is just the entryway bathroom. The other bathroom, which I'll show you a better picture of in a minute, is the main bathroom where that I've talked about. So, but this is
the report said that the bathrooms were clean for whatever else. I mean, that's where they were hanging out naked. You don't want to be sitting on a dirty floor with your snatches out, because Nick was making sure everyone was getting nude in those bathrooms except for Aaron, who was like, whoa, maybe I want to keep my underwear on when I'm sitting on your stinky ass floor that's covered in dog shit. We'll see that with Sunny's coming up. Don't worry. We're going to see the dog shit on the floor.
Where they decided they set all the drugs down on this toilet seat.
Nick uses every deception tactic. It's nauseating. Yeah.
They pulled everything out. I'll show you.
I mean, like when I mentioned he called Farah earlier, it's so manipulative. Call him up crying. How could you say this about me? Please delete the things. Like, they don't understand. Like he goes from anger to pity. He tries to find any angle to worm into someone. And you see that with his insults as well. He rotates around them trying to find something that sticks. And then he thinks he's got the most deadly thing. Like, this is what he said about Lady K, right? He's like, he said, I don't remember the exact verbatim, but he said, like, I'm sorry that you were like abused, but I didn't abuse you. I didn't abuse my kids. Doubt. Like he finds something that's vulnerable, like Lady K's history, and he's like, well, that's a weak point. Let me just stick the knife in. That's what he thinks he's doing with Sean. It's not working, and he's trying to do it to Kurt, but I think Kurt's taken the high road. It's good to see Kurt's doing good. He's doing good.
Picture too. I don't mind.
I'm gonna refresh this.
So this is the thing that was on my nightstand, and it says,
we've seen this before. Like, I don't know why he brings this out again. We've seen this before. The Wanna Bang thing. I thought it was described as an art piece, but it's like a stupid trinket from like Amazon or something.
Wanna Bang. These are like bloomed out bullets, right? And then the dirt is 22 shell casing. That's the dirt in the plant. That's it. It was just a cute thing Caleb bought me from Amazon. So those are the 22 spent shell casings that they assumed that I was just firing off a gun in my bedroom. There's no holes in my.
No, I think the idea is we're like, what is he doing? Like making brown or something. Now it seems that wasn't the case, but I wouldn't put it past him.
My bedroom, that bullets would presumably caught. Like, I don't know where else they would go, but there's no holes from the 22. You think they would find that and document that? Yeah, there appear to be bullet holes, et cetera, et cetera. They don't.
I mean, when you hear a terrible story, yeah, you start thinking about possibilities. It doesn't mean that you believe everything. It's just like, these are ideas. It's like, well, they're spent shell casting. What could be the reason? And it's not unreasonable to say, well, this guy is coked out. He's on all kinds of crazy drugs. Maybe he's just Yosemite Samming it after stream. Yeehaw! Bang, 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 bang. Time to wake up, kids. It's 2 a.m. Bang, bang, bang. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not that unreasonable, honestly. When you see the extent of like his lies and all the things he's done, we didn't say he was shooting off like that. We were saying like maybe he was mixing and making brown, but it seems like he was trying every drug under the sun. I think even on today's stream, with who was it, the PYP or something? Or he said like, I had some DMT, but I never got to try it. That's my only regret. So the idea that he wouldn't try mixing gunpowder and cocaine doesn't surprise me at all.
This is way tamer than the transcript makes it seem.
Yeah, it kind of seems that way, doesn't it? It's a little bit weird.
No, it isn't. When you selectively curate the things you're going to show, and apparently there is some discrepancies of the date of these photos that make it seem like some of them may be from a different day. When we get to Puppygate, we're going to find out about that. That's what interests me, is the Puppygate. Yeah, when you show people your own twisted, curated photos, yeah, it's going to be different from the transcript. But we had 2 transcripts from 2 different women, and Josh was trying to get a third one, but your lawyers blocked it. The prosecutor blocked it. Some reason they started colluding together. I believe Matthew Harding's filings are going to be filed today, by the way. I probably won't do a stream about them because it's kind of like, it's not that interesting. I've seen some of them, but I believe the injunction or whatever there is going is being sent up today. So the lawsuit is on the way, chat. No worries about that. Now, my hopes for getting the body cam now are very low, I'm going to be honest. Hopefully we're wrong. But even though this isn't really an appeal, this is almost like an appeal situation where it's appeals are for losers. Like, unfortunately, it seems that Nick was effective enough for whatever reason to block this. But it will be interesting to watch the developments. And, you know, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm preparing for the worst. Although Sean has said that there's some interesting ramifications of this about disclosures and obstruction, not obstruction, but constitutional issues will be interesting. That is right.
It's a little bit strange.
Not really.
Might have something to do with Josh Moon, who's a penchant for always telling the truth and getting everything right, even though he constantly gets shit wrong.
Yeah, people on the farms get things wrong from time to time. But it's crazy how many times they get things right. That's the problem. The Kiwi Farms isn't one thing. It's like thousands of people. Actually, I don't know how many. I think it's like tens of thousands of people. I mean, Next Thread has 180,000 posts. They're all just different people commenting, gossiping, and collecting information. Of course, people are going to have different opinions. There's pro-Nick people, there's anti-Nick people, a lot more anti-Nick people. But yeah, things on the farms will be wrong from time to time. But what has Josh Moon in Rekieta's case been wrong about so far? What's the scoreboard, Nick? What have you got that proves that he's disloyal, or not disloyal, but dishonest? Also, yes, I forgot to mention earlier, but Lady K saw Ralph, and she said he was 5'5", which is taller than I thought.
Here we go. Da-da-da. So this is where, again, they brought in the contents of the safe. And I'll describe everything here.
Also, there is the baggie that says the KKK, the Kayla Ketamine Classics or something. So this is another detail that just proves that the transcript was actually fairly accurate, because how could they make up a detail like this?
So this is obviously a digital scale, little tray that you put the stuff that you need to weigh in. This is the cocaine. I've got a better picture of it coming up. This is ketamine. I've told the story about how I accidentally did ketamine instead of cocaine, and so that is labeled KKK, so that mistake would not be made again.
Now, interestingly, Aaron said that he thought this was April's doing, because April has like a childish sense of humor. And Nick said today, and I don't believe Nick saw Aaron's show, but Nick said today that he did not write KKK on the bag. It was one of the ladies, which is interesting because that would actually be a point in Aaron's favor. In fact, you might even call it another win for the toe, that the things that he's saying about the drug situation may have been more accurate than Nick has let on.
But yeah. And then there's just a couple like straws or whatever, and some cards, etc.
But they said cards, but apparently these are hotel keys. I'm not sure why he would have hotel keys. Like, does anyone know? Is this just for like, oh, he probably just stole them from a hotel and is using them to line up the coke, right? That's why that would be there.
You saw the laundry, by the way. there's a lot. So clearly there are no clothes around, right? It's not like we have an entire room that is just the children's clothes.
All right. Now, this was also in the document, so this is not a surprise whatsoever. But I'm not sure this is the win that Nick think it is. So let's take a look. So in Nick's house, they have an entire, like, I think Nick said that he bought out a Toys R Us or something. So they have this entire room of clean clothes. Okay. This does not help Nick's argument at all, because it reminds me of a Seinfeld bit. Sorry, I'll be cringe for a second. Please indulge me, chat. There's a Seinfeld bit about reservations. Jerry reserves a car and he goes to pick it up and it's like, do you have my reservation? They're like, yes. It's like, okay, where's my car? Oh, we gave it away. It's like, but I had a reservation. Yeah, but then someone came in and we gave it away. And then Jerry goes, anyone can take the reservation. The important part is holding it. You're good at the taking, but you're not good at the holding. And this is the same thing with the clothes. Anyone can have a room full of clean clothes, but are your children wearing the clean clothes? If you have all of these clothes, why are there reports that your kids are smelly in church? It's the hand-me-down closet. Well, yeah, that's the truth as well. Like a lot of these clothes that they can't wear. In fact, Nick even gave that detail himself. He said that a lot of these are they're too small now, so they're trying to get rid of them. So they're going to donate them or something, or just put them in a big box and ship them off to somewhere or something. I don't know. But it doesn't matter if the kids have clean clothes. Are they wearing clean clothes? And if they're not, that's your responsibility to teach them to do that. The younger ones, they need to be reminded. The older ones should be reinforcing these good habits. If the kids have clean clothes and they're not wearing clean clothes, and this does not prove that the kids were wearing clean clothes, and the kids actually asked for a clean pair of clothes when the cops came in. They said, before you take us away to grandpa and grandma while our parents are being booked, they said, do you have any clean clothes I can wear? Now, it was a Monday. It was a weekday morning. Maybe the kids had just gotten up. Maybe it was their pajamas or something. We don't know. But the fact of the matter is the reports show that people were concerned about the children not eating enough and that they were smelly, wearing the same clothes day after day. If kids aren't changing their clothes, and kids will try and get away with it, they'll wear their favorite pair of clothes 5 days in a row. You have to be there as a parent to make sure they're doing what's right, to teach them how to be an adult, to teach them how to be self-sufficient. If you had the clothes and the kids weren't wearing them, that's a you problem. That just goes to show that you were derelict in your duties as a father. So I don't know why he thought showing this was a good idea. In fact, it's even stated in the documents. So it's not like this is like some shocking moment. But again, the Boulder washers will see this and go, well then, oh, that proves it. That proves it.
So this is a clothing closet that our kids share. That's all it is. It's a very nice room, but it's entirely dedicated to clothing.
It's almost like nobody's been in here. It's so clean. Maybe because they weren't wearing they weren't changing their clothes.
For the kids. So, and I'll give you another view of it.
Why?
These dirty, stinky kids just don't have any clothes available. It's amazing.
No. The claim wasn't that the kids didn't have clothes available. It's that they weren't wearing clean clothes.
How like...
This is how he lies.
How that was true, I guess.
This is how he lies.
MommaKay says there's one actual legit photo. Hey, MommaKay, you're a scum bitch. I hope you...
I've never heard scum bitch before. Is it kind of catchy, actually? This is like one of the first Nickisms, I think, that is... Did he come up with this, or is this does people know this? Like, this is the best one, I think, that I've heard of him so far. It actually makes sense. Scum bitch. Like, a cart full of Canadians, I don't know what that means. The hop at a Denny's, nobody knows what that means. Rapping with a vibrator. I think that's my favorite one because it's just so ridiculous, but nobody knows what it means.
I really do. Go away. You're disgusting. Take your trauma somewhere else. I didn't abuse you. I didn't abuse my kids. Someone else abused you. Go take it up with them.
Oh,
For fuck's sake. You're a psychopath.
Did my message not go through?
Yeah. It's kind of like we're a normal family. Like, I don't know what people thought was going on. Oh, wait, I do. It's because someone has been lying about me and my family for the past year, every single day for the past year. And they've crafted some narrative about some horrific hellscape. And I'm sorry, but it's just not true. And at some point,
if the house was in good standing when the cops showed up, they wouldn't have taken the kids away. You can talk about Aaron all you want. The fact of the matter is, a report was made, the cops showed up, they found drugs within 10 minutes, they took your kids away for 77 days, and there was a 6-month investigation to find out whether or not you were a suitable family. And as we heard from Kay's statistics in Minnesota, many cases where children are returned to homes and then go on to be subsequently abused again or worse. I don't know, like, why, like, there's no... Nick has claimed that America's open court systems is a benefit of society. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Whenever it benefited him, your life, profit. But as soon as it comes to him, as soon as someone takes an interest in his life, which is private, then there's a problem. Then you're a scum bitch. How dare you come to the courtroom and just take notes? Well, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't have gotten in this situation in the first place.
At some point, like, I have to do what I don't want to do, and that is just pull up the pictures taken by the cops on that day.
You didn't have to do this. And in fact, I'll defer to the chat. What do you think? Should he have done this? Do you think this was a good idea? Do you think this was a smart idea? Do you think he gained from this idea? What happened? He got a little bit of a boost because he got a bit of the drama money. I mean, does this convince all the old viewers coming back? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I think that this was a disaster. And frankly, if he had either shown the body cam and then just said, you know what he could have done? He could have just showed his clean house today. He could have just said, look, I'm not going to show you my body cam. I'm not going to show these photos. This is what my house looks like today. If it was a clean house, then say, look, mistakes were made. This is us going forward. That's all you have to say. Or just say nothing. Nothing would have been preferable. The Pie Baker says, are you going to do a Nick Rekieta documentary series of videos where you try to explain these Nickisms? I've thought about it. I've thought about making like a Turkey Tom style rise and fall of Nick Rekieta, but I want to see how the story ends first. If he recovers or he goes to prison, maybe I'll do that. If he goes to prison, I'll probably almost definitely make like a 1-hour doco or something, explain the whole situation. If he recovers and does well, then I'll probably just forget about him. Like I said, it was like Runkle said, actually. If you're tired of people talking about you, just don't do anything worthy of being talked about. Be boring. It's really that easy. The only like, if Nick does no more retarded stuff and the body cam doesn't come out and he doesn't have any more SEETHE sessions, the only time I'll talk about him again is at the end of the Karen Reed trial, when I do the final report of his first streaming thing coming back. Now, if the body cam comes out, of course, we'll talk about that. If more SEETHE sessions happen, we'll talk about that. If he's arrested again, we'll talk about that. So it's really up to him. Like, if he doesn't want people to talk about him, just go back to being the law guy. And then there'll be no reason to do these sort of things. There'll be no reason to point out your lies. Just be boring. I don't talk about the toe because I don't want to talk about his adventures on the fucking golf range for the weekend.
And tried to just let this go. But Josh paid people to lie.
This is absolutely defamatory. First of all, he did not pay. He offered gas money. Second of all, he did not pay them to lie. These are actual defamatory remarks.
And now he's throwing a tantrum.
Who do you think's throwing a tantrum? 1 for Null, 2 for Nick. Do you sound like you're reasonable here? Do you sound calm? This is like watching him do the Keanu SEETHE session and then say, Lamol, Keanu's mad.
See, Josh doesn't know what's on the video. Like, he doesn't know this.
Well, he has an
idea.
idea.
He doesn't care.
What?
He doesn't care at all. He wants...
He raised $6,000 and now he's suing Minnesota to find out what's on these tapes. He seems like he does care what's on them. You said he's seething because he couldn't get them, but apparently he doesn't care what's on the tapes.
To see my kids suffering. My kids were very calm through all this. It was true.
That's not normal. The kids shouldn't feel like this is a normal situation. It suggests that they go through a lot every day. I mean, maybe they're just very well adjusted. I don't know. Maybe they're just like they're very stoic or something. But no, we could not see the kids suffer because they would be blurred out or removed from the body cam. Standard behavior, procedure. It's just, again, you have to go to these sort of insults because you know that there's no other worse thing you can call him.
Dramatic, of course. But they weren't suffering. They weren't like wailing or moaning in the streets. They're just there. They don't really like, there's nothing to do. They just had to wait. They had to wait for everything to progress.
That's a good point, actually. So he admits that his kids were suffering. It's like, you want to see my kids suffering? So they were suffering.
But they're not having a fit. They're not screaming and crying. They're not breaking down. They're not filthy and dirty. They're just kids. Leave them the alone. You're such a goddamn weirdo. I can't show the
He's using his kids as a shield again.
Guns. I would love to show you the guns. So the police said that there was, my rifle had loose ammo with it. That's true, except that the ammo didn't fit in the rifle. The ammo was for the handguns, which were in a safe in a completely different part of the house.
It says loose ammo around the house?
Rifle ammo was nowhere near the guns. The rifle ammo was in the garage. And again, there is no way that that rifle was going to be accidentally discharged by anyone.
That doesn't mean you should leave bullets lying around for the kids to pick up. Like, come on now.
It just wasn't. It wasn't going to happen.
I guess Nick does have a history of leaving bullets around children, though, so this tracks.
There was no ammo for it.
This is the third case.
Again, the ammo that is there is ammo. It is for 2 handguns that are somewhere else entirely. We did not keep loose ammo near any guns, except...
That statement, we did not keep any loose ammo around the guns that they were for. So you did have loose ammo.
There was some... there were loaded magazines in the safe with the handguns because, if you have
with that
for self-defense, you want
problem with
a loaded magazine.
With a loaded magazine. Safe,
yeah, it's against YouTube TOS to show guns now.
Kind of gun channels exist, but like if you show a gun on a stream, I believe they do ban you. The idea being that like an accident could happen or something. This has happened to people. YouTube is funny with guns. You have to be very careful.
Or
so
something,
I can
like,
this,
something
this
like that. I don't know. I don't want to get
to an extent. It's a half true, like most of what Nick says.
So we'll just do this. Here's the main chunk of the coke. This is on the scale back at the sheriff's office. So this is not at my house, but they had 18.96 grams, including the bag. This is the initial weight that they did the charging with. The 20.
There was actually, I'm not sure if it's in this clip, but I believe it was in the other clip from the podcast he went on today, where he said like Aaron told him or something, which is probably true. But he said that Aaron said that he had like 40,000, like he said he had like a gallon of cocaine or something in his house. And then Nick was telling the story, and then he said that's something like $40,000 worth of cocaine. First of all, how do you know that? Second of all, Camelot said, maybe jokingly or maybe exaggeratingly so, that you were going through $20,000 of cocaine a month. So like it's 2 months supply of cocaine. Is it so unreasonable to think that maybe you go buy coke shopping once a month and you buy these huge amounts and you just happen to be caught on the last day that this is running out? Like, because you were using coke all night last night. So the original was obviously higher than this. How much coke is he using? Like those reports may have been accurate. Now, Nick doesn't know these reports exist because he thinks that the government is withholding discovery from him because he has no evidence that Aaron actually said these things. But that is the rumor. And I mean, if you just take what his friends are saying, like maybe he was bragging. Maybe he gets $2,000 of coke a month and Camelot exaggerated or he exaggerated, but they said $20,000 a month. So he said 40,000. That's just 2 months supply for him. If he's going and buying to Twin Cities once a month, this is the end of the run. It's just they're about to go restock tomorrow. The cops got him on laundry day, but also the day he runs out of coke. It's just so unlucky. So unlucky.
6 grams that they have.
And of course, this is conjecture. Like, I don't have any proof of this. This is just like, I'm just thinking here. I'm just asking questions. Maybe he just always has this amount or something, but like he was certainly using a lot the night before.
That's when they measured it, is with all of the bags. They don't take it out until they do the official testing at the BCA lab in Minnesota. And so they weigh it all and it has the bag weight on it. Well, there were 3 small bags and in the bag that this is in. This bag probably weighs about 1 gram to 1.5 grams. And then the 3 small bags each weigh about 1.5 to 2 grams. The small bags actually weigh a little bit more because they have the Ziploc on them. So it adds a little weight.
I don't think, like, I think Aaron has put forward an idea that like Nick was like dealing or something. I don't think so. I don't think that Nick is selling and laundering money through super chats. Why? I don't see how that makes sense. First of all, like using YouTube to launder super chats is very silly. First of all, how do you do that? Because you have to buy super chats with I guess maybe you could use like a Google Play balance or something. but like typically it's through a credit card. So you have to have the money on your credit card already. YouTube takes a 30% cut on every super chat, and there's an additional 20% fee if it's from an Apple device. So you're essentially losing 50% of your money. I'm pretty sure there's a lot better ways to launder your money than getting 50%. Like, I don't know why people said this. Like, Nick was very popular. He got a lot of super chats. There's no reason to believe that these super chats were laundered or fake. People have accused Aaron of doing this as well. I don't see why. Now, you can fake donations. You can fake donations on super tips, I believe, and things like StreamYards and things. You can send a test message and make it look like an anonymous message or something. So maybe he's faking super tips, but I don't think that laundering money is an idea here. And people are saying like April's dealing coke or something on the side. I don't think so. Nick's problem was he had too much money. So like I mean, I say that, but then again, you can't assign rational ideas to irrational people. So I guess it's not impossible, but I really don't think so.
But so when you have,
I mean, he can't even launder his fucking clothes. So, I steal that from the chat. Sorry. So you expect him to be able to launder money?
4 bags, right? You're going to lose like between 4 and 8 grams when they actually take the bags away and measure everything out in powder. So that's why, you know, when they got the official weight, it was around 19.5 grams, not the 26 that they first mentioned. This is our Lego display room. So up on this top shelf, there's a bunch more of this, but I don't have.
I'm not sure. Like I said, this could be the alleged happy room, I think it's called, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's a cavernous house, really. But I guess we're all just jealous because it's the myopia of our poverty. Now, fun detail, this is the Home Alone house. I heard this is a $400 Lego set. So just jealous, I suppose.
Have it all. Up on this top shelf is a bunch of Legos that are completed Lego sets. We have like the Home Alone house up here. And not trying to overlook or hide anything, there are a bunch of socks over here. This leads to that room, the kids' closet. So there are a bunch of socks on the ground because we have like
maybe the kids' closet. Oh no, that's the closet. The kids' closet is the one with the clothes.
7 billion socks that are they're all mismatched. And so yeah. This is also a play kitchen. This thing over here on the side is a play kitchen for like little kids.
Hopefully they weren't eating play food. Right?
Our 7-year-old's about at the top age of that. She plays with it from time to time, but it's less and less. But their younger cousins would play with it quite a bit, so we've kept it. But it's a cool little mini kitchen. You know, lots of houses have something similar. This one's cluttery. The kids always leave this one to be a mess. Yes, I will blame them. They can take the blame on this. This is just a little kitchenette downstairs where the kids have snacks and stuff. They have their own refrigerator. For all the food that they don't have, we have 3 refrigerators in our house.
I mean, this isn't a picture of food, though. It's a picture of a refrigerator. This could be the case. I don't know. The content is what is it? Schrodinger's fridge. Maybe it's full of food. Maybe there's nothing in there. Maybe it's all rotten. Why is a picture of a fridge? I don't know anything from this picture. It's just a non-issue. It's just another area. This is the kids' area, so I guess that's why it's actually clean. Because all of the adult areas are the ones that they're fucking disgusting. Apparently the kids were cleaning up.
All of them are full.
Oh yeah. He used to have 3 fridges. Now it's down to 2 because of Hackmania. Very true. That's funny.
All the time. It's annoying because if you have to put leftovers away, there's no way
have to use levity sometimes.
But yeah, so the kids who don't have any food to eat have their own kitchenette with their own fridge and their own sink and stuff like that. Here's another shot of the downstairs room from the other angle. Again, so this is that drum set you can see over.
All right, so this is the different angle where we can see it. I mean, to say that the floor is cluttered is very true. There is some area here, but it's like you have to like sneak past these things and everything. Now, again, this is the downstairs area. Apparently, this is the kids' area, so maybe it's fine. Like I said, it's impossible to know. These are photos that Nick chose, and he chose to exclude the worst. He didn't show the entryway. He didn't show the bedroom. He only showed the bathroom with Sunny. Send our boy home. So, I mean, I can't make any like this after today. I can only assume it's worse because he chose to obscure a lot of the details. Like, what is he hiding? Either show nothing or show everything. I mean, you can edit out your wife, you can edit out your kids, that's fine. I don't need to see the kids' rooms, but the master bedroom is where all the debauchery was happening. I feel like we should at least see that.
Over here is a xylophone that we could see before. The piano is down here. It's hard to see from this angle. That's the piano bench. These damn kids never pick up these damn couches. But we have five of these things, right? Because each kid has their own.
I thought he was going to say we have 5 of these things. You mean children? No, sorry. No, he means the couch. I'll give that to Nick. Okay, give that to Nick.
So they actually like when they take them all out, it is a mess. I'm sorry about that. I really am. This is
Maybe he should apologize to his children. I'm sorry, chat. Oh, so passive aggressive, such a bitch.
game table. It's supposed to be. They do Legos on here or play games. They do some like tabletop role playing games, Dungeons and Dragons type stuff, or they do board games or puzzles, all that. So that's a table.
Do I say it? The puzzle of how to get outside the house today. Uh-oh. It's a labyrinth. We got to figure out a way to get outside the house before Dad gets up. Yeah, that's the real puzzle. Oh my goodness.
Table entirely for that space. This is my son's computer area, where he does schoolwork and projects, and he and his brother code all sorts of shit in Roblox and stuff.
I remember hearing this story about his kids coding in Roblox, and I used to think that's kind of cool. Like, it's like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like, because I've never played Roblox. And frankly, if I had been playing Roblox, you should be very concerned about me. Anyway, especially if you've got a YouTube channel, right? But I've heard this story before that his kids programming in Roblox. And I thought it was a cool story because that's like a neat thing of learning while you're having fun. I'm starting to doubt this story. I think he just means his kids are playing games all day and they're pretending to do, and Nick sees that. They're like building a house. It's like, oh, they built I know Minecraft and Roblox are different, but they built a redstone clock. They're coding. I'm not sure. I mean, I play Factorio, and people say that Factorio is like coding as well because you build all the circuits and everything. People that know Factorio bros know. But like, just because I play Factorio doesn't mean I can code. I can't. I'm really starting to wonder about this story. I feel like it's just cope. Like they're just playing kids. They're just playing games, right?
Like that stuff I don't understand.
Apparently, Factorio is node-based programming. I don't know.
Uses this room.
I like my little trains and my little nuclear reactor and things.
So here you go. This is the library that is mentioned. This goes to my office. It's a library room. We don't want our kids to have any knowledge of anything. So
I wonder if this is the room with the corner next to his office that the kids were being too noisy in.
We have 2 libraries full of books. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a FOMO.
Trying to figure out what
not
else.
Not really. I just, some trains are pretty cool. Okay.
All right. So
Japan has a lot of cool trains.
Let me. This picture has one of the officers in it. So this is the bathroom. This is the infamous bathroom.
All right, here we go.
Again, I showed you earlier where the safe was found, but here's a wider shot. I have 2 wider shots of the bathroom, so you guys can see. One of them has Sonny in it. The other one has an officer in it. So here's the first one with the officer. Again, this is really intimate and personal. Then
don't show it.
This is also at 9 in the morning.
Helping.
Sonny had not been out yet, so sorry. There is a little bit of dog poop in the image. Please steel yourselves for it. So you can see over here on the right, this is the officer.
He's got dog shit. He's got dog shit on his house. No, I think there's actually a better picture here, and we'll talk. This is the right time to take it. We found it. We found him. Send in Sunny Team 6. We found him. There he is. Now, apparently, they keep this dog in here. Just like, and Nick's gonna cope and say like, no, he's just here, so he's not like tearing up the house or something. Apparently, this dog just lives straight up in this house all the time. He'd never seen, like, ironically, his name's Sunny, but he hasn't even seen the sun once. Do you really think that this man is taking good care of Sunny? We need to send in Sunny Team 6. We're going to get the cat too, chat. Get our boy, bring him home. Bring him home. We need a wellness check on Sunny's stat. But like, all right, so there's an interesting detail here. Now, you see here, they've got like a little fence, like it's a dog door. And apparently, I think PPP, because PPP was training to be like a pastor or something, I think. There's like a Bible quote here that I think is about children, like how children are precious or something. I don't know. But this is a really big contention in the body cam footage. And I'm not sure about the second woman confirming this or not. But Lady K claims that in this bathroom door on the body cam, when they saw this gate, there was like those plastic kitty doors or animal pens. So When she saw this, she said, this is the wrong door. They must have placed this here on a second visit. Now, I don't know if that's true, and without seeing the body cam, I don't see if there's any way to prove it. But I damn sure trust Lady K more than I trust Nick. So, is the idea that they changed the door, which apparently you hung this up on a wall or something? They turned their little like cage that they were keeping Sunny inside, and they changed it with this cute little like quote live laugh life door or whatever. And then they sent this photo to CPS services to say, look, this is an improvement. We're making our house nicer. I mean, if the body cam comes out, how could anyone support or believe anything Nick says if this is not on the body cam? This is a very clear thing, and I'm not sure. I need to hear the second lady report to see if she says the same thing. I've heard rumor that she did say it, but I haven't seen it posted in a report yet. So this is a big detail. Like the other things, like you can kind of understand with other things in the house, like with when you see like when you see these cushions overturned, and you say like, well, yeah, maybe kids are just flying around pillows or something. It's not a big deal. I can absolutely see how this could be a bad and a good thing. Like, yeah, maybe the kids are just throwing it away, or maybe it's just the actual state of the house every day. This is a matter of perception. But now we have a clear and obvious point of difference in Nick's stories and the reports of the Kiwi farmers. The only way to verify this is with the body cam. I won't accept EXIF data. I won't accept any of Nick's stories. I won't accept even any random photos being leaked by mysterious sources or thing. There was a very funny thing that happened today where Jesse PS Pot Awful, he claimed to have the body cam, and I think he had like AI images or something. And he was trying to bait Nick into revealing it, or he was trying to troll him or something. Very funny, but I didn't believe them because the chair placements were the same as the Zillow listings and things like that. This detail is, I mean, there's no way it can be interpreted differently. It's either a proper fence or it's this door. And if we see the body cam and it comes out that Nick was lying and he was showing follow-up photos, I think it's like over for him, honestly. But I don't know. We have to see. Nick could easily disprove this rumor, by the way. If Nick wants to discredit Lady K, he now has a definite claim by her. All he has to do is cut up the video and show the section where the cops walk into the bathroom. The cops walk into the bathroom to pick up the guns. You can show them walking into the bathroom without exposing your wife's bedroom. Of course, that seems to be the reason, like at least one of the cope reasons, right? Now, Nick won't show even a single frame of the body cam because it's his claim that if he does so, he'll be showing that it's not really that private and that he doesn't care, and thus the state may be more inclined to share everything. But if the conclusion of the lawsuit comes out and the body cam is blocked forever and it's deleted, it's banished, and there's no way it'll ever come out, the very least Nick could do is prove, if he's telling the truth, that this gate existed on the day, because that's a clear contradiction from the stories that is being told by at least Lady K. I'm not sure about the second woman. If you can't do that, I mean, it'd be an easy win for him if it's true.
Taking the picture from the bathroom. This is one angle of it.
So wait, Harada with a 50 sec says, some of the details were described in the body cam notes. Rekieta accidentally confirmed that two women had indeed seen the body cam footage. Yeah, I mean, the details in the report are very good so far. There are a couple things, but like some of them are matters of opinion. Like the couches, like I was just saying.
I'll show you the rest of it in just a second. Yeah, I don't know. Is that sufficient for you? Like I don't know how to show you the exit data on all the pictures, but there's a cop in this one. So then I have one more picture from the bathroom, I believe, with Sunny in it, because Sunny is cute. Annoys the shit out of me all the time because dogs are just annoying to take care of.
Sunny's cute. He annoys me all the time. This picture is so bad. If only you knew how bad things were. If only you knew how bad things were. Sunny is cute. He annoys me all the time. That little piece of shit.
But
listen to that.
Sunny is cute. Annoys the shit out of me all the time because dogs are just annoying to take care of. But here we are again.
You know why dogs are annoying to take care of? Because they need to be trained. And Nick doesn't believe in training people to do things. He just lets live and let live. Lets his kids roam free in the waste piles of his house. Of course, he likes cats over dogs because cats don't need to be. You put food in front of cats and they're okay. He was able to do that. Like he was able to feed the cat. We know that. Dogs take work. Dogs take effort. Dogs take patience. Things that Nick does not have.
So here's the bathroom where Sunny is trapped. Now, Sunny stays in this bathroom when there's not someone to supervise her, like you would have a kennel trained dog, except she has a big bathroom. I don't know. Locked in that bathroom. Look at her living in squalor. It's terrible.
I mean, you can see shit. There's like 2 pieces of shit. It's been cropped out, but believe on this one you can actually see it. I mean, to be fair, dogs do shit, so that's like not a problem. But the question is, first of all, imagine the smell. Second of all, how long has that shit been there? I mean, it could absolutely be the case that this was just the morning, and they hadn't got around to cleaning it just yet. But again, why should we give him the benefit of the doubt? He doesn't give it to anybody else. Natasha says PPP knows Christianity, unlike Crackett's, the blasphemous. Yes, he's now claiming that his blasphemy is the reason that the pastor reported him, not the fact that the pastor is a state mandated reporter and they would have to do so. Hashtag Team Save Sunny and hashtag Long Live the Ceiling Cats. That's another detail that was confirmed actually by the body cam. Kind of interesting, is that they said that the Nick's streaming roof was unfinished and there was holes where cats could come in. Well, maybe not there was holes, but you can actually see it here. You can see it's got just like it's got like the plastic down, like they haven't put a proper roof on it yet. So again, just another detail that was correct in the body cam. Interesting.
Just abused and constrained.
I mean,
not the same.
I mean, he's
Dogs
constrained.
Good in the dog isn't in isolation. The dog has a place to stay when no one is around to supervise her, so she's not running around the house like crazy.
Can I update my ceiling cats to make them more look like Nick's cats? I could. I think someone sent me a PNG of them actually, but I'm not going to do it right now.
Here's
Maybe
a
next
karaoke
time.
room. I don't know. There's
Again, it makes sense that this would be clear, because I think he used this to stream too, right? To like locals and stuff. Because he did his stream cope sessions in here. Now there is some details. I'm not sure how much stock I put into them. So there was some actually these posts are fascinating. I like Folger's can, but like I don't know if I believe them, but they said that they compared like the weather conditions on the day, and then they have the reflection of the screen. This is great. Like this is just really fun to see. I love seeing this sort of stuff to see how like in depth people go, because I cannot understand how you would do this. Like it's absolutely not like incomprehensible to me. So what they did is they saw the reflection. They saw the reflection on this bird feeder. You can see that it's the reflection in the karaoke TV coming through this window, which means that it's this window. And you can see the bird feeder here. Like there. Is it bird feeder? Maybe it's a lantern. I thought it was a bird feeder, but I guess it's just a lamp. It's like a decorative lamp or something. And then they can triangulated it into the front yard. I love this shit. Then they're looking at all the different degrees of the light rays, and they're trying to use this to show the different time, because they looked at the area of the sun at the certain time frame, and they said that it's more likely that these photos were taken in the afternoon, I believe. And I know how they do this. I think there's a program you can use called the Photographer's Ephemeris or something, and you can calculate wherever the sun is on every day of the year, because it's very important for photography actually. But the fact that people actually go through here and do these things is just like, I love to see it. It reminds me of like the Shia LaBeouf Capture the Flag days, you know, where they were like looking at planes flying over in different angles, and they're using that to locate where the GPS coordinates and stuff. So I'm not sure if we can, like, I'm not sure like we got them or anything like that, but like this is fascinating to see, and it does lead more credence to the idea that these photos were taken at a different time. Whether you buy them or not is up to you. There's also this interesting question. I don't think this is accurate, but it is kind of interesting to see, is that there's tools you can use like AI, and Nick does use AI frequently on his streams. He's spending most of the time talking to Grok, making AI images of Kurt or making songs up. You can easily clean up a room with AI, and that could explain the discrepancy as well. You can see here they've got a messy house, which I believe this would be more clean than Nick's house. But you can put it through these tiles, Flux Pro, clean up this room, and then the results are pretty good. The results are really good, actually. So I think that Nick didn't do this, and it's not because, like I said, it's not because he's honest. It's just because I feel like Nick is lazy, and this seems like too much work. So I feel like Nick would wander over, look at the photos that look the best and pick those photos is more likely than him using AI, but it is a possibility. It's very hard to trust anything these days. And this is why I would say I would only trust anything that came out of the police office at this point. I'm not going to accept random internet photos. I'm not going to accept anything from Nick, certainly. I'd accept something from April, sure, if she's got the body cam. Although April's body cam is not redacted, so somebody would have to redact it first if she was going to share it. Nick's as well is not redacted. Currently, and that's probably another one of the reasons that Nick doesn't want to share it, is because he doesn't have to go to work and actually go through and edit out vulnerable people in that.
There's not much else to
It's
say
an
about
interesting idea, though. It's an interesting idea. I thought I'd mention it. Peru.
There you go. Thanks for visiting my house.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Alrighty. So, let me see. Let's go through some of these. What are we thinking, chat? Looks like with 1,000 votes, I hope these people that voted like the stream. Are these pics legit? 16% say yes, he's a good boy. 46% say it's a different day. And 26% say they're edited. And 12 of them that were base enough to just like the stream. So that means that, what is that? 74%? Wait, no, sorry, 72%? Wait, yeah, 72, right? 72% believe that they are either altered or from a different day. Interesting. I don't know. I think I'm starting to buy that explanation, chat. You never do math on stream. It's always a mistake, or ever. All right, let me see. There was a couple cool memes we got. We got to, like, these things are so dark. We have to kind of go through and have a bit of fun afterwards. I saw this is one of my favorite memes. We've got, he's got in his cuck chair. He's watching the steel toe show. Luigi wins by doing nothing. You've got Sonny cowering here. I'll get you next time, Aaron. Or no, wait, next time, Aaron. I will have your goo next time. Very good. That's a good one. Dr. Claw. Yeah, it's Dr. Cuck. He's the #1 cuck. And you see he's got his little baldo on the thing. There's a lot of cool deep. Like, some of these memes are really good. I much enjoy them quite a bit. This is a pretty good one. We've got Nick with his trash, and then Nick on his stream. This one's pretty good. Meme review. Yeah. It's good stuff. This one's pretty good. This is one of my favorites, actually. I've done this to my friend as well. He removed a friend from his life, and I found a photo like this and I edited it out for him. He didn't find it very funny. All right, what do we got here? So Scarecrow said that Nick disappeared for approximately 22 minutes during his house photo stream yesterday before showing the photos. When Nick returned, he said he had to have a personal conversation before the stream could continue. It seems Nick needed permission from our wife, indicating issues between them and the wisdom of the stream. Yes, everyone's telling him it's a bad idea. Nick seems to have been under some sort of guise since the gears. What is this? I've never seen this word before. Is this a typo, or is this just a word that I don't know? Geese? A guys? Oh, guys? Is that how you spell guys? Isn't guys spelled with an I? I don't know. Some sort of guys since the arrest, blocking people who bring up our wife. Oh my god, I'm being exposed as a brainlet right live. Blocking people who bring up our wife, refusing to acknowledge our wife was Aaron's lover, and only mentioning her in passing. She seems to want to be forgotten by the internet and go back to being private, but Nick has to correct the record. Yes. Kayla has said many times that she wants Nick to stop, but she can't do it. This is when he came back.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Code Geese? That's a Gundam or something? I don't know.
Had a personal conversation that needed to happen.
Goose? Code Goose?
Before
it's
the show
Gaelic.
could go on.
Sounds gay to me.
And so that's done.
All right. What else we got here? I probably should have showed that earlier. What is this? Nick accused Jenny Josh of lying. We already saw that during the thing. All right. We got those. What is this? So Null has said that Harding's filing will be tomorrow, so we can have something to look forward to as Breaking Baldo Season 2 continues. Nick thinks Jesse released the full body cam footage today and is talking about suing the county. Nick is in panic. The clip of Jesse released was so much worse. Way more in line with what the note said. This is fake. Jesse does not have the footage. It's very funny. I think Nick said something interesting, though. He said that he would sue the county because they illegally showed the footage to people. They did not legally show the footage. At the time the footage was viewed, it was deemed legal. The fact that it may have been corrected the record later does not change the fact. Lady K did not see illegal footage. She was legally showed footage that was then reclassified. Nick said, interesting thing actually, he said, even though he is embarrassed and he's very terrified of the idea that people will figure out he don't know the law as well as he thinks he does, he said that if he was, I think he said there's a claim for approximately $15,000 for inappropriately exposing private details. He can sue the county for that, and if it was malicious, he can get double, so 30,000. So if he's got 8 people, 8 times 30,000? If it was malicious, that sounds like some money he could use in the Monty Graf lawsuit, since he did hire the most expensive lawyer. So I guess if Nick does believe that he was truly wronged, he should sue the county. But maybe he doesn't want to do that, even though there's a giant monetary incentive for him to do so. Perhaps he realizes that he might lose that one. Ethan Van Sciver being a snake. She absolutely destroyed Nick Rekieta in that live stream. I have never seen him lose his cool like that. Rage doesn't sell on YouTube. Yeah, it's a bad look. When someone is laughing at you, I feel bad for Nick, but also Keanu came across as likable. Oh my goodness, it's unimaginable. Nick makes the impossible possible. He made Keanu likable, which made it a double whammy. I don't know anything about her though, so oh no, you've gone retarded. That's sad. Hope you get over it. So Nick actually thought that he had a good performance with Keanu. He thought that was a good display of his based and reasonable opinions. Nick, you've got to stay calm in these situations or stay out of them. I'm being objective, buddy. I achieved my purpose just fine. To cry? I don't know. We have an alternative meme here, an explanation for why Nick's fingers were blue. This is good. He's writing in the death note, but he's using finger paint. That makes sense. We've got Maddox, we've got Null, we've got BodyCam footage, Aaron, and CPS. That's pretty good. What was this one? Nick on Twitter. Nick Rekieta, you're a sad bully now, nothing more. No, I'm a happy bully. Nick actually thinks he's bullying people. Who is he bullying? He's seething. And I guess he doesn't mind he doesn't mind bullies then. I guess it's okay to bully people. Are you winning, son? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. All right. I think that's all I wanted to show mostly. Yeah, so he was on BYB SpaghettiOs. So this is a Stalin clip, but I guess the podcast was called BYB. I don't know who they are. I think they're Devilverse people. I think one of these guys like really pushed back on Nick and didn't really think he was a good idea. But it was a bad performance. I'll say that. I only saw a bunch of the clips. For some reason, they say that I was going to interview Drexel. I'm not going to. I think Drexel has made his position clear that he just doesn't want anything to do with the Rekietas, and that's why he hasn't talked to Nick, responded to his texts, or said anything about it. I think that's pretty obvious. I'm not sure where that rumor came from, because someone messaged me as well. Someone messaged me and said that, am I going to have Drexel on? I said no. And they're like, and then someone told me that Andy Warski was going to have Drexel on. I mean, maybe he would. I don't know. You'd have to ask him, I suppose. But I don't know why that rumor was out there. It's kind of strange. It's a mystery to me, at least. Alrighty. There we go. We got through it all, chat. We got through it all. Whew. This has been the All Nick show recently. We're going to have to talk about some other topics soon. I'm getting kind of tired of this, honestly. It's just so frustrating because he never changes and he doubles down, and there are people stupid enough to believe him. It's kind of draining from time to time, you know what I mean? But if he keeps doing retarded stuff, I guess I'll be forced to keep talking about him. So there you go. Rada says, the Rage sold it really well for Kiki. I mean, Kiki did very well. I was very surprised. I've said some mean things about her in the past, but I was impressed with that one performance, at least. So good for her. Good for her. It was very funny. Very funny. Give us a dino stream? No, it's past midnight. I got to go to bed. I need to get my editing done tomorrow. I actually have things to do. Oh no. I just had a quick check. Nick has been streaming for the last hour. He is at 989 viewers. Oh no, is today the day? No, don't go over there and check, okay? Don't go over and check and tease him or anything, okay? If you don't want Nick to succeed, either watch him on Rumble, because it doesn't matter, or just watch the clips, okay? If you go over there to troll him, it's like giving him attention. Any attention is good attention, okay? But tonight might be the night that he actually drops below 1,000 live streamers. I think he'll be fine. He usually goes up towards the end of the troll anyway. How's he doing versus Kurt? That's the pony that I'm watching. Kurt is streaming to 700 people right now. Let's see. Should we restream to Kurt? Should we restream to Kurt and try and get him over 1,000? If there was someone else, is not Aaron? Is Andrew streaming? Nah. All right, I'll send my power to Kurt tonight again.
Lesser remedy.
You don't have to stick around. You don't have to watch him, but at least go in there, hit like on his stream, and say another win for the toe or something. Big support tonight. Great stream. If you're watching on replay, leave a comment. I love my replay. No. Do we do a vote? All right. I'll let the chat decide. I'll let the chat decide. This is a 1 minute 1 minute. I'll play the Stoney's commercial. Okay. Restream. Wait, hold on. Restream or end. Restream end. All right. You get one Stoney's commercial to decide on this. But also a real commercial. Go support the Dragon's Treasure using code COPE. Haven for anime and tea lovers, you get 10% off your tea. The tea man beat his previous record. Phenomenal. Love to see it. You love to see it. All right, Stoney's commercial time. Our actual sponsor. Where is it? Where is that Stoney's commercial? They should have this. The reason I'm streaming this is because I'm playing Stoney's.
Yeah, I like money though. I like money. Oh, I like money.
That's not it though. I was hoping that would give me time to find it. I can't find anything in this. What is going on?
Anyways. Are you tired of drinking alone, or worse, with boring people? Hi Minnesota, I'm Meme McGill, and do you want to experience the kind of atmosphere where the drinks flow as freely as the gossip? Then come on down to Stoney's in Rockville, Minnesota. At Stoney's, we don't just serve drinks, we serve connections. Some legal, some not so much. Need a spot to discuss your latest scheme, or just want to unwind after a long day of avoiding responsibilities? Well then come on down to Stoney's where the drinks are cold and the secrets are spicier than our famous Ultimate Bloody Marys. Whether you're planning your next big hustle or just looking for a good time, Stoney's is the place to be. We've got pool tables, karaoke nights, and the only thing more colourful than our drinks is our clientele. Hey look, you didn't hear this from me, but did somebody say $2 cans on Thirsty Thursdays? Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? At Stoney's Bar, every night's a wild card, and the house always wins. Unless you're buying the next round. Just remember that what happens at Stoney's stays at Stoney's. Well, that is until the next town hall meeting. Just check out all of our testimonials. Stoney's Bar, Rockville, Minnesota.